Coming up, Ty from Comeuppance is back on. We're going to look at two Michael Madsen films. We're looking at Assault on Hill 400, which is an Asylum film that also has Eric Roberts and William Baldwin. And then we are going to look at a movie called Machine that has, Neal McDonough, and then screenwriter Nick Vallelonga, who won the Oscar for The Green Book. So it's an interesting movie. That's actually a little bit earlier. The Machine, I think, was an 2007 movie. So a little bit earlier than what we usually do, but we wanted to get a couple Michael Madsen films for Madsen MAYhem. That's what we're calling it here. So definitely stick around to check those out. And then next week, we finish off the month of May with Will from Exploding Helicopter, as we are going to look at the first Roadhouse and then the new reboot Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal. So definitely check that one out. That'll be next week. And then when we start to get into the month of June, Scott Murphy from All 90s Action All the Time is back on. We are going to be looking at Pistol Whipped, a Steven Seagal film. And then Ty from Comeuppance, next month we're going to be doing Dermot Mulroney. So we'll be looking at two films from him, Ruthless and what is the other one? Ruthless and Lights Out. So we're going to do a Art Camacho movie and a Christian Sesma movie, but both with Dermot Mulroney. So those should be interesting. And then we have the rest of June and into July scheduled out. So at this point, I think we're close. July is an interesting month because it's another 5 podcast month. It's another 5 Tuesday month. So I got to do a little extra booking there to get us over the hump, but we should be in good shape. So definitely watch this space, and we'll keep everybody posted. Thursday, we're going to finish off the John Wick series with John Wicks 3 and 4. So those are watched. They're ready to go. Been gathering my thoughts, ready to go. A little bonus on that episode. I watched Madsen MAYhem over the weekend, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on Madsen MAYhem as well. So kind of do John Wick 3, John Wick 4, and then kind of a bonus segment at the end of that where I'll look at Madsen MAYhem. We were talking about whether or not I do the Continental or not. I decided I started watching the Continental, but I don't know, it wasn't really working for me on that same level that I would want to dedicate an entire podcast episode to it. So I said no there. So what we'll do after that, I'm not sure. So, we'll think about it. One of the interesting things, I started watching the Picard series. My friend, Mike Palos back home, he got me into watching, because we're both Star Trek fans. We're like that level of fan, kind of the same way I am as a baseball fan. Like we're really into it, but we're not going to dress up and we're not on the level like when I got married, I didn't we didn't dress up as Klingons when we got married. That kind of thing. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it's fun if you're into what you're into. But we're kind of a bunch of notches below that, where we're not spending a lot of money on it, but we just really enjoy watching it and talking about it. And he was like, you got to watch Picard, and so I watched the first season on my train ride, taking the Acela, which was delayed, which was great. You spend a lot of money you spend more money on the express train, and it ends up being delayed the whole time. So it ended up being a wash. I ended up being the same amount of time. But anyway, one idea I was thinking about is maybe doing the Star Trek movies, because those span a huge period of time, right? I mean, you're talking about, first one came out when I was born, right, in 75. So just an idea, but we'll see. I mean, I got to think of something, right? Because in 2 weeks we got another episode comme up, so I got to think of what the next franchise will be. So we'll see. So definitely watch this space. But this Thursday, you can check out me wrapping up the John Wick series when I do numbers 3 and 4, and then again there'll be that bonus of Madsen MAYhem. In terms of the site, you may have noticed this past week that there was no post. And I got out to visit my family in New England. There's a lot of stuff going on, just, activities, seeing people that I hadn't seen in a while, friends, family, and it just didn't happen. I also didn't bring my computer. I thought I could do it on the tablet, and I think I just didn't have the feel of wanting to type it out on a tablet versus a keyboard. I'll probably pick back up with the weapon this weekend. I was thinking about maybe trying to sandwich it in this week, but I think it'll probably be this weekend. We'll kind of just pick up back where we left off. Kind of heads up that next month, around the same time, it'll be like Father's Day weekend, I'll be back up in New England, so probably the same thing will happen. Maybe I'll try to kind of get out in front of it and try to get a post in advance. But like when you travel, it's like one of those things where it's like, the week up to traveling is just like as busy as the actual traveling, right? Because it's just like, getting everything together. It was only 4 days that I was gone, but it just happens that I post my blog posts on the weekend, and so that's what kind of when it came up again. So we'll see. Maybe I'll try to make some plans so that I don't miss another one in June, but we'll see what happens there. But in terms of the site, we've got the weapon, That one is coming up. And then also, I think Bulletproof is what we had on the list there as well. We've got some Sidaris with Enemy Gold. Also, I just watched Electric Boogaloo, the documentary on Canon. Really want to get some reviews in on, get a review in on that. So, especially because I don't know how long it's going to be on YouTube for. That's where I caught it. So, probably got to get those images there. Interesting, because we'll be doing definitely some multiple. So multiple Hall of Famers are going to be in that, right? You've got, for directors, it's going to be Sam Furstenberg was interviewed, and obviously Albert Pyun, one of, our greatest DTVC director, right, with over 40 director credits. Nobody's even close to that. And then in terms of actors, right, obviously Dolph is in a very, very short time for Dolph in it. He's not in it that much. But Michael Dudikoff, another DTV connoisseur, Hall of Famer, he's in there. So a lot of big names. So we're going to get a lot of tags on for that one. Of course, Golden Globus and Cannon themselves are Hall of Famers. So interesting, I'll have to figure out how I'm going to tag Cannon, because it's not actually a Cannon film. It's a film about Cannon. So their tags are usually their movies. So we'll see. We'll figure that part out. But that's going to be coming soon as well. So keep an eye out for that. I think that is pretty much everything. Also, keep in mind that John Cross from After Movie Diner, he recently posted 3 episodes of his podcast that I was guesting, co-hosting with him on. Those are available on his main feed right now. So he originally, I think when we talked about it last week, they were only on the Patreon. Those are now available on the general feed. So we talked about there's 3 episodes that we did, and he just kind of posted them all at once. One was Pam Grier movies. We looked at The Arena and Black Mama, White Mama. We looked at that's Predator 2, and then also we did a whole kind of Wings Hauser. So we're supposed to look at 2 Wings Hauser movies, and ended up looking at more like 4 movies, kind of looked at his career overall. So those were some really fun episodes. Definitely check those out. That is pretty much everything. So, as we're wrapping up here, just again, quick plug of the novels. We did get someone out there who picked up Bainbridge. So if you pick up one of my books, if you want to drop me a message in Facebook or something, I'm always happy to give you a shout out if you want a shout out. But Bainbridge is probably the best bet, especially on Kindle, because you can get it for like, I don't know. It's like, I think it's $2.99 on there or something like that. So it's definitely a good price. And I was talking. I know John Cross, After Movie Diner, he'd read it. He said he enjoyed it. So it's definitely a fun kind of send up to 90s action. I'm looking to kind of maybe, because the current version of it that I have, it's kind of it's more like a regular paperback size. But the problem is with that regular paperback size, it's so thin that there's no spine text on it, because you can't fit spine text on it when it's that thin. So I'm looking to do maybe kind of like a mass market paperback style, where it's kind of a smaller paperback. So I've developed some images for that, and might start kind of putting that into place. But so keep an eye out for that. But again, if you're getting it on Kindle, it doesn't matter what version of the paperback is out there, right? Because the Kindle's always going to be the same. And also I am starting to kind of pull ideas for a sequel to Bainbridge. So some of the ideas that I have for the sequel, kind of a mix of like Showdown in Little Tokyo. I've got a character that's kind of a Cynthia Rothrock-esque character, but then kind of a drug thing. The previous one was a human trafficking thing, and I think that's I'm seeing that's become a played out idea. Even though I was doing a '90s version of it, it's kind of a played out thing. So kind of some more 90s topical things, but maybe not as played out, So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think that is everything. So what we'll do here is we will stop, because I already talked 8 minutes. I don't know how I talked that so long, so quickly like that. But anyway, we'll wrap it here and do our theme song from John Cross at After Movie Diner, Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures. He'll play us in here, and then when we come back, Ty from Comeuppance will be on, and we will be looking at Assault on 400. All right, we are back, and I am joined once again by Ty from Comeuppance. Welcome back, Ty.
Hey, nice to be back again. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we've got an interesting one today. We'll call it. I guess we could because it's May and it's Madsen. We could call it Madsen MAYhem. Yeah, we've got our beverages, our tea, and everything ready
Yes,
to lubricate the throat because these Madsen impressions are going to be very raspy.
already coughing already about it because
Right.
it's just like,
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're really get into the bad set here.
sure.
Yeah, but before no, the two movies we're going to be doing Assault on Hill 400, which turns out to be another Asylum film. So we did two Asylum films last time. I had no idea this was an Asylum flick. It most of the time because it's like there's an Asylum feel to the whole, like to the what the thumbnail, I guess is what I would say. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you can tell.
yeah, or
Yeah,
you guess like what movie it's supposed to be, like what's the word? Not lampooning, but mock busting.
yeah, yes, mock bus. I remember when Transmorphers came out. I mean, like Transmorphers. Oh, all right.
Right.
I mean, I
Yeah.
gave it a pass. I knew this was Transmorphers.
Right.
I like that they tried to trick people back in the old days of the Asylum.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
because the
Alien versus Hunter. Right, right. That's the movie that's
right.
coming out soon. Right. And,
Well, because the original one they did was the one that did, like, was the C. Thomas Howell War of the Worlds. And with War of the Worlds, right, because it's public domain, they can just call their movie War of the Worlds, and it can, it can be the same. That's where they had the success from it, was that, like, people thought they were renting the Steven Spielberg War of the Worlds.
well, I guess what people could trick. C. Thomas Hall was in The Outsiders with Tom Cruise.
Right, right, exactly.
Coincidence? Wasn't he Pony Boy?
He was, yeah, he was a
Well, C.
star,
Thomas Hall
yeah.
is the sweeper to me, but
Yes. Yeah, that's his. I agree with you. That's his, if he was going to do like that Lorenzo Lamas post on Instagram where he said Reigns was his Rocky. I think I would hope C. Thomas Howell would say the sweeper was his or
I
the sweepers was, yeah, that was his Rocky.
I wish I was in the sweeper. All I would just rest not loyal forever. It's just like
Mm,
a lot of
yeah,
people do that now. Tom
right.
Cruise still rests on his laurels and Roll of the Worlds, doesn't he?
Yeah, right, right.
Never heard of
Yeah,
Mission Impossible. Actually, I've never
right.
seen War of the Worlds. So here's a lot of Dakota Fanning screaming, and I don't want that sounds annoying to me. So
Yeah, that was like one of the first Cruise movies that I didn't see. And I don't remember why. I can't remember why I didn't see it, but I didn't. And
I
that
hear
was,
it wasn't much to hang your hat on.
yeah.
So it's like I'll just skip it.
Because you
I
think, right, like it's Spielberg and it's, and Tom Cruise. That's supposed to be a good combination, but um sometimes it just, I don't, sometimes too, I guess, I don't know about you, like sometimes you just see like a movie. I mean, it was like almost 2 hours long, which isn't like it's like the longest ever either. But I don't know. Sometimes I just see a movie sitting there and I'm like, do I really want to watch that? I don't know. And
well, that's the
uh
thing. Exactly. It's like I don't care. I know it's
right,
been at the library for over 20 years now.
right, exactly. Exactly.
I haven't
Yeah.
got to. You know, I
Yeah,
haven't
I was
seen
trying to,
movies. I haven't seen the Goonies. I know people think that's controversial, but it's like I never cared. I think like I was watching, you know, uh, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. DuckTales
oh yes.
as a
Yeah.
kid, and that's all I can really remember. But because we at the old video store I used to work at, Best Video used to have a young adult section.
Oh, the Goonies was young
And
adult.
well, no, well, what was it? Okay, I forgot. Oh, Goonies, yes, Goonies young adult. I know there was maybe 16 Candles. Oh no, Some Like It Wonderful. Some Like It. That's the title, right?
Some Kind of Wonderful, is that what it
Some Kind of
was?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing on Roxy Carmichael. I remember seeing that in the young adult section. I don't know why I
Yeah.
remember this from just now, but I was like, I didn't care. I want to watch DuckTales: Treasure of Lost Lamp for the 15th time. So it's like,
Right. Yeah. No,
then I just
Goon.
skipped Goonies. Yeah, skipped the Goons. What was
Yeah,
the Goons?
I think Goonies. I think the thing was except my podcast, my solo one I did on the Predator, I was talking about like these movies that, like, for my age cohort, like you just had to see. And Aliens, the Alien movies, like Alien and Aliens, were two of those movies. It was just like, I don't remember how I watched them. It was one of those things like I just had to have seen them. And Goonies is another one where it was like, at some point, with friends or something, like somebody's like, it's just on, and you just had to have seen it. Yeah, there's a few like that. It's just like, yeah. And so yeah, Goonies is one that who knows when I saw it? I can't remember, but I just know like I saw it. I just know like when people make jokes about the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Goonies. Yeah, I know what
Well,
you're
I know
talking
some
about.
Goonie references, like there's Chunk or something, or
Mm,
that I don't really know much about Chunk,
right, right. Yeah,
but I know what you're talking about. I've never seen
yeah,
the movie. So there's a lot of movies I haven't. People say, "Oh, you've seen everything." Like, no, not everything, because I have to care a little bit more.
right.
And
Yeah.
then my mind's crowded by B movies. So it's like, so
Yes. Well, that's the thing is once you reach a certain age, like right, like those, it's like once you get past the point where those movies would have been like critical, like when everybody was watching them, and once you miss that point, like it's like me doing those Marvel movies, long after everybody else had watched them. It's kind of a weird thing to go back to me like, oh yeah, I finally saw Avengers, and everybody's like, yeah, I saw that 10 years ago. It's like,
so that's 10 years ago, dude.
right, yeah, exactly.
I was thinking that dude, because that sometimes dude is like derogatory.
Yes.
It's
Oh
like, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. There's some one of the things like so I find this when I'm on like on because sometimes I'll be on like Reddit or other social media where I'm just sort of getting information about something and I start reading a thread, and when things get contentious there are a couple words that irk me when people say one is meh, the MEH, like it's like
Oh,
if somebody's like, I really can't stand, oh, I'm such a huge Tom Cruise fan, meh, I don't really like Tom Cruise, it's like it just goes into that whole voice of like, meh, I don't really, like whenever I
yeah.
see that one gets me. But also dude, like like, yeah, oh, there's so much Tom Cruise you can see there, dude. It's like, yeah, you're just like, oh, it's that internet guy. I think I know what you mean. Like when you get
Yeah,
certain
exactly.
words turns you into that internet guy.
Well, what's also kind of annoying? Mid.
Mm,
It's like,
yeah,
that's mid.
yeah,
I mean, middle of the road.
right,
I mean, like,
exactly.
well, there's that story from last year. I don't know why this even has traction, but like, oh, Margot Robbie, she's just mid
Right,
looking. Like,
right, you're right.
like what?
Yeah,
Okay, you're wrong,
right.
but I mean, like, I don't get it. I mean, so I
Well,
don't understand.
the thing I'll at least say about mid and some other ones like saying that if something's really good, saying it's fire, or if a
I go back and
song,
forth on one
yeah, if a song's really
because it's
good,
kind of
saying it's,
funny to say that's fire, dude. That's
well, yeah,
fire. Or say to
it's
the
definitely,
dude, it's just like that
yeah,
is so
adding the
fire.
dude for. Yeah, exactly. But I think some of those terms that like younger kids say, like, saying a song slaps. Like if a kid says a song really slaps, I'm like, okay, you're a kid. But if somebody my age says a song really slaps, I'm like, no, you didn't just say that. Like
Yeah,
what's going on?
exactly. Or
Yeah,
this song's a bop. I hear
yeah,
that a lot too. It's just like,
yeah.
okay,
Like
I don't
I
give
kind of
a bop. I care about a she bop. All right.
right, right, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's like I put mid in that category where if like you're
Yeah,
in your early 20s and you say something, or like teens and you say something's mid, I'm okay with it. Like it's okay. Hey, you're a kid. You say things
fine.
like that's your slang. That's your. But like yeah, if somebody in their 40s is like, oh, that's totally mid. It's like get out of here. Just
Get
go.
out of here. Oh, here, go right back to Madsen, which is, if you're pushing 60, you got a bum ticker.
You got to take right. So,
Look,
yeah,
you're mid.
yeah,
You're mid, bop.
exactly.
It's just like,
Yeah.
well, wait. So we'll go back to what I was watching. Actually, it's a good, somewhat of a good
A good
my
segue.
dude, which is two separate things. Which I watched a movie called Dude, starring Lucy Hale.
Mm,
It's like one of these teen dramas. It's on
mhm.
Netflix. My friend, oh, you met him, Dave. He recommended it.
Oh
And
yes,
it's all right.
Dave. Yeah, yeah,
I thought it's all right. I
yeah,
mean, like, it's kind of like it's Lucy Hale, kind of R-rated.
yeah,
Just like it's all right. And then
yeah.
also, speaking of Dude, you're on the download, Dude, because I watched SVU. I've been wanting to
Oh
watch
yes,
SVU, as I mentioned to you yesterday.
yeah.
So no, I see didn't say that again. It's like
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I think I showed you the picture when I saw a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden in January. Mariska Hargitay was in the stands, or was in the audience for the game.
yeah,
Yeah, they played a clip of SVU for that. So it's one of those things for anybody listening. If you ever like the Knicks games are way more expensive than the Brooklyn Nets games. Like a Knicks game is like in the nosebleed cheap seats is like $100. And what happened was my parents were like, oh, my family, kind of what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, my mom wanted to send me to a Philadelphia Eagles game. And an Eagles game, the cheapest Eagles ticket is like $260.
Huh.
So I was like, I don't need $260, but hey, if you want to give me 150, I could go see a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden and pay for the train as well. And she's like, okay. And I got like a cheap train ticket. It was like $20, for Amtrak.
Like,
So
yeah.
yeah, and the ticket itself was cheap too. It was like a little over. It was like 95, and they were playing the Utah Jazz, which they're better now, but wasn't a great team. But it's like you go there and it's just all kinds of celebrities, and they all kind of like the way that they have the courtside seatings. It's like there's like a barrier with like plexiglass or something, which I haven't seen at other arenas. But like yeah, every time between when there's whistle, when there's stops in the game, they'll just play some clips on the big screen. You realize like, oh, that's a famous person. And then they show the famous person sitting in the audience.
Oh, that's good. She needs to take a break from being Olivia Benson all day for 500
Right.
plus episodes, which is
Right.
the show's been on for 25 years. That's for you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I gotta say, most of the episodes are pretty good. I mean, like,
Yeah.
a couple duds of Stucky, if you remember that character.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Like, that might have been writer strike, but might have not. So I'm not sure. But I think they're gonna blame the writer's strike, but that was 2 years after the writer's strike when Stucky was around. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but
That's amazing because I remember when it came out. Right. It came out in 1999. It says, wow. So it's like
yeah,
you had Law and Order, just Law and Order.
yeah,
Um,
big old honor. Yep.
yeah, was that the first one? I think that might have been the first one of those procedurals to do that, to do like a
Yeah.
a
First,
second version of it.
yeah, and I can't what's still on now. And then of course then there was criminal intent.
Criminal Intent, yeah,
I'm doing the D'Onofrio head tilt now on the audio.
yes.
You know,
Yeah, the D'Onofrio, because I guess like the whole point of Criminal Intent was that D'Onofrio was supposed to be a version of Sherlock Holmes, and
right.
I love the idea of saying, "Here, Vincent D'Onofrio, be your version of Sherlock Holmes," and it's that character that he created.
It's amazing because like now I almost have to do the head tilt. I
Right.
mean, like that was back in the day when it was really popular, this head tilting. But
Right,
like,
right.
it's, I was excited. It's like, oh, we did the head tilt. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like and that episode, I forget the episode season 2 was one I remember vividly for some reason. Season 2, maybe episode 1 or 2. It's the episode. It's called Dead. And there's this long like bit where this hitman's looking for like this weird tooth or something.
I remember that one because
And
who,
then
who, who was that actor?
J.O. Sanders is the character actor looking for it.
That's right. Yes.
And he's a bunch of things. He's like maybe like Dylan Walsh's dad, basically.
Right, right, right.
Good thing to say. But it's like, you couldn't find the tooth, could you? DeCorin says, couldn't find it, huh? It's just like he like walks in the room, and he's like, it's just perfect. It's just perfectly done. It's like, so,
Right, because the twist is that
video. I think I recorded that part.
yeah, because the twist is there was no tooth.
There was no tooth. No.
Right, Gordon tricked him, and then
Yeah.
the fact that he tore the place apart looking for the
Yeah.
tooth was the proof that he committed the crime. It was like the most amazing thing. Yeah, that character actor, he's like a poor man's Wings Hauser.
Yeah, for sure. And then
Yeah, he's like a mob hitman.
yeah, I just watched Dylan Walsh in I want to say Brenda Walsh,
Right.
but he was honest for you. He was like this kind of like somewhat evil. Well, I won't say what happens, but the dad's evil, and he's like evil dad guy. So it's like, but it was good. It was good. It was a 2-parter, season 22-parter, I think. But wait, what have you been watching?
So I was watching, I've been watching Marvel movies, things like that. And then one of the things I had this idea that I was going to do on the blog, like cheap versions of Marvel comic book movies, because Tubi has all kinds of them, right? They have either like direct ripoffs of like legit ones. Like I think one of them's like instead of Iron Man, it's like Iron something. I don't know.
Or say Metal Man or Metal.
Yeah, Metal Man. It might be Metal Man. It's something like that. There's ones like that, and somehow I came across this director, like this low budget director named Brett Kelly. And of course, if you look him up, I think there was another Brett Kelly who was an actor in Bad Santa, so it's not the same one. Yeah. So I think you have to look up a movie from him. So it's I think the movie that I saw was called Galaxy Warriors, and I'm going to review it for the site. It's like a really like micro budget 70-minute kind of deal. But here's the thing. It was trying to like do like a send up or like I don't tribute or whatever, or be within the vein of like the women in prison kind of films, like an
Hmm.
exploitation film, but it had no exploitation in it, right? So there's no nudity, there's no like bondage or women in chains or anything like that, no whipping or that kind of stuff. They
Someone
it
did
was
Lloyd Samandel to be the director. I'd say.
right, exactly. Yeah, I was saying that I was when I was talking about Cracker Jack 2 with Todd Liebnow from Forgotten Filmcast. I was like, yeah, after I think like Cracker Jack 3, Lloyd Samandel is just all white slavery movies. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, he just falls into that category. But it, this is an interesting concept here of like exploitation without exploitation. It's like an impossible burger of movies, right? Like, it's like you take the nudity out, you take all that stuff out, and it's like the thing is that the impossible burger, if you ever, I don't know if you've ever had an impossible whopper.
I think I tried one to try it. It's like
Yeah. It's like you can kind of tell the difference, but it works in the sense of like, okay, I don't want to eat meat, and this is close enough kind of thing. But
and
like
that Galaxy Warriors is it's close enough.
no, Warriors isn't close enough because it's like
Uh,
it doesn't mask itself well enough. It's like one of the comparison I gave was back on Andrew Zimmern's show. The crazy foods guy or whatever. He went to this like vegan food startup out in, I think it's San Francisco, and they had a fake version of scrambled eggs. And he was trying their fake version of scrambled eggs, and he's like, "Boy, you're close, right? You're close. Not like, oh, this is great, this is amazing, or anything like that." He's like, "You're close." And I think that's what this is. It's like you say, like you're close. I can still taste that this is not real meat. So it's like,
it's not real Marvels. It's a fake Marvel meat. Yeah.
right, right. This is like fake exploitation meat. It's like there's no but yeah, I found the guy Brett Kelly. What he does, what his deal is that he doesn't make like Marvel ripoffs. What he does, I mean, he does make some kind of ripoffs, right? Like he's doing like, big like Kong movies and things like that. But he also does these things like he'll find like I don't know, like public domain comic book characters. Like one of them's like Agent Beetle, or like or one of them's like the Black Bat, I think is the name of like the character, something like that, where it's like the characters are like they're like public domain, and like in some cases there's like a I don't know, like a history that like maybe this character was the one that inspired like the one we all know, like Batman or something like that.
It's one of those, right? This is
Yeah,
it's like from the studio that brought you Wedding Crashers. Because like
right.
you would see that. Oh, the studio, oh Universal or whatever. Oh, okay. It's from the company logo you see every day. It's like it's
Right,
like
exactly. Yeah, but he does also do Thor's. He does because Thor, right? Again, obviously Thor, right? You can't copyright, uh, Scandinavian um,
right,
gods,
can't
right?
Forster.
Right, exactly.
That
Iron
always
Soldier, that's the one he made. That was one I was thinking of. That was Iron Man. It was Iron Soldier.
Forster.
Yeah. So I only watched Galaxy Warriors because it was his most recent one, and I was like, I'm kind of curious about this, and it is an interesting concept to do like exploitation without exploitation. Like, what does it mean? Like, what is that? Like what are you doing with that? And one of the things I realized is that like all the bad parts of an exploitation film that you overlook because of the exploitation elements, when you don't have the exploitation elements, you're like, oh yeah, like that, like it's like those characters wouldn't do that, right? And that, and it's like, well, in an exploitation movie, I'm like, well, I don't care because I just want to go to the next, nudity scene, the next, explosion, the next, whatever, women in chains or whatever reason you're there for the exploitation. And if you don't have those elements, it's just like, oh, that plot's kind of thin, or oh yeah, that
Yeah.
those characters wouldn't normally do that in that situation. That doesn't really work there.
So are you gonna watch more of his movies after
Yeah,
this one? Or just like
yeah,
what's
I
next?
think so. Yeah, so I'm gonna probably review it as like my indie review for the month of April. Because we're for people listening, we're recording this in April, even though you're listening to it in May. So the review will probably be already be up at this point. When you're
Oh,
listening
no,
to this, if the review's not up by the time you're listening to this, and something went really wrong.
uh, like recording in the past for the future. That sounds like
Right,
which
right,
that could be
exactly,
like something in a trailer. Like we're recording in the past to save the future. Just
right.
like
That would be a great movie. Who'd you get in that? Like, because I think in the past it would have been a Jesse Metcalf special.
oh, perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
I get him now, but I mean, like, yeah, Jesse Metcalf. After his big success in Swim Fan, or is that Jesse Brett?
Right.
But I mean, like,
Yeah, what was his like?
John
Somebody
Tucker.
must die. John Tucker must die. That's what. Yeah, that's
I remember when I was coming. I think we talked about this before, but I remember when I was coming out. I was like, "What's this movie?" And it's like,
yeah.
it's like some of these movies that used to come out of nowhere. Remember
Yes.
that? It's like there's a movie. It's called John Tucker Must Die. It's coming out August 1st, and tomorrow is August 1st.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, and there's probably all of these stories behind these things, and of course, like I don't know, like magazines, like Rolling Stone or whatever, I don't know what they would be, Slate or whatever. They get like millennials will do these like an oral history of whatever movie, like we care, it's like I think like for example, like the reason why a John Tucker Must Die, like we suddenly hear about it the day before it comes out. There's probably a story there, and that story's probably good for like a 3 sentence entry into the trivia page on John Tucker Must Die. But
I
there's
like
always like these articles, like like I don't know, somebody must get this idea, like I've got to prove my value on this magazine,
yes,
otherwise I'm going
go
to
on
get the can.
whiteculture.com, and
Right,
it's like you ever see that? Like usually it's like what's Fruit the Balk's been up to, but it's like it's like
right, yeah, and it's like
I got
we care enough for like 3 sentences. We don't care enough for a whole
yes.
article.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you don't need a full history. I mean, like the history of the making of John Tucker Must Die. I mean, like, huh?
Right.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
sure. I read it, and sometimes you see it on Yahoo because I still Yahoo Mail. It
Oh
says
yes, me too.
4-minute read. It's like
Yeah.
it's like okay, 4-minute read, sure.
Yeah.
Like, how do they time that? Because don't people read at their own pace? But I mean,
Yeah.
if you read fast, like it's 4 minutes.
Right. I guess it's 4 minute read because it's based on like how many words are in it and the average reader's pace, I think is what they do.
And I just remember, was it Jesse Bradford or Jesse Metcalf who's in a movie called Clock Stoppers? Was that something?
Oh, I
Am
think
I?
I know what you're talking about.
I think it also has Brent Spiners. I remember seeing it, but
Yes,
I
Jesse Bradford with French Stewart, of course. Got to have French Stewart.
I just rewatched Give 'Em Hell Malone, French Stewart. It's like that's a disappointing movie,
Yeah.
and like it's just not done well. It's the power of writing. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I see what you're doing. You have your film noir, but you have to write it correctly. It just that's another. We should probably go to our movie shortly, but
No,
I
that's
didn't
all
watch
right.
Giving the Eli Roth. I think I gave you my list of 1 pro and 5 cons. It's just like
Right. Well, oh, I wonder
for
too.
pros, they're getting cons. Remember that from Happy Texas? It's
Oh,
like
yes.
that's clever. Got your
Well,
Steve Zahn. What's he up to? But,
yeah, Steve Zahn, I know he was doing like kids movies and stuff like that. So I wonder if he's still doing that kind of
right.
stuff.
Steven
Yeah.
Zahn. I want to
Yeah.
be more. It's like,
Yeah.
well, he was
Oh,
in. Go ahead, please.
oh no, no, I was gonna say, yeah, Jesse Bradford. I don't know if you know this. He's from Norwalk, Connecticut. He's a
Oh, I probably heard that from like Brad or something.
Yeah. I always kind of saw him as a poor man's Justin Theroux, but I don't know if there's, you know, how that works. Like if maybe Justin Theroux inhabits a certain Jesse Bradford space when you needed like a little bit more to the character.
It's funny because you used to have, there's like 6,000 Jessies. Now we had Bradford, and then we had the other one you just mentioned,
Oh, Metcalf.
Metcalf, and then of course we have Jesse Eisenberg, I guess, and then
Right.
and
Yeah.
then we needed those type of people back in the mid 2010s, like
Yes. Yeah.
sensitive people. Look at Michael Cera or something like that. It's like, and
Yeah.
then now we just have like all these like Chris Hemsworths and all this. It always changes. It's
All the
like
Chris's. What's going to happen is when we get into like 10 years from now, when all of the Braden, Jaden, and Cadens get old enough, it's going to
that's
be all
true.
Braden, Jaden, and Cadens that are going to be the male stars.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Caden,
Aiden's too.
what's that?
Aiden's too. I think it's Aiden, Braden, Jaden, Caden. Those are like the names
Oh
that
my,
parents
yeah.
give their kids nowadays.
Now we're in the Chris phase, but soon we'll get into the Aiden, Jaden, I guess McFadden phase or whatever.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
And then I guess, well, the thing I was just thinking, an Impossible Burger, I think a certain maybe person might not like the Impossible Burger. Maybe Trump.
Oh,
Just
right.
think how that would sound like. It's like
Right.
I only have Trump burgers. Okay, they may have the best Trump meat. Okay, it's like, I'm in trial right now, Stormy Daniels. I mean, she hasn't dropped by yet, but like that could be hilarious. I want to see
Yes.
his lawyers like, Miss Daniels or yes. Were you in a movie called Wrong Side of Town? I was. People Rest. It's just like it's like
Well, because one of the things, right? One of the stories with her is that like, or one of the situations is that like Michael Cohen hired somebody to threaten her, and wouldn't it be great if we find out the person that he hired to threaten her was Bautista? Like,
that'd be,
because
that'd be
right,
great.
yeah,
I still watch the fight scene. I don't know why. It's just like because you get hooked in how stupid it is. It's like because it's
yes,
actually somewhat well made, somewhat. And
yeah,
the bit with the knife and the knee, it's like
yeah,
I still laugh at it. It's like it's just
yeah.
funny. People say, "Oh, that's before." Batista actually was pretty good, and I watched My Spy. Speaking of Batista, we should probably get our movies.
Oh
But
yeah, but
I
I
like.
was yeah,
Uh,
Bautista is he was a revelation, I think, for people with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like people were like, "Oh, he's like really good at this character. He can do this kind of stuff." But for us out there who knew, I mean, he was funny, I think, with WWE. I don't think he always got as much work to do with WWE, but like you said, for us, like seeing him in like Wrong Side of Town and stuff like that, it's like when he got the stuff to do, he was funny.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I keep My Spy. It's funny. I like My Spy more. I like Thanksgiving. Oh, talking about Thanksgiving, I got sidetracked by Impossible Trump burgers. But it's like, but what was I saying about Thanksgiving? I would skip it.
Yeah,
Um, that's just me because
yeah,
I get the worst part about the movie is that it's disappointing.
hmm,
It's just that it's just disappointing.
yeah.
You don't really. It's done. It's written poorly, and so you don't care about anything, especially Patrick Dempsey. That's what I call him.
I like that.
It's like this. I've always never liked Patrick Dempsey because it's like you don't have any range or really more screen presence.
Right.
Get someone like a Nicolas Cage or or maybe or Willem Dafoe, something.
Yeah.
Just like for this movie, I mean, like
Yeah. I will have to say I have a special place in my heart for Dempsey because he's a Mainer. So
uh,
as a Mainer, there's that piece of it. But I would definitely not like go to bat for him and be like say like you're wrong that he no he has a ton of range. It's like yeah he has about as much range now as he did when he was like mowing lawns to buy a girlfriend and Can't Buy Me Love, or like
exactly.
delivering
It's still
extra
impressive.
delivering pizzas and hoping Robert Ginty doesn't kill him in Loverboy. So yeah,
Exactly. It's like, well, that's impressive how he could stay like that this whole time. But I mean, like you
right,
gotta.
exactly.
I don't know. It's like once, and then you get the most limited amount of Gina Gershon you can get.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. The problem is it's disappointing. You have Eli Roth. He knows his horror. I guess that's
Hmm.
in your message, but it's like I don't know. You just don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's a disappointment. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I mean, I guess he's making. Go ahead, please.
No, I agree with you there. I think Eli Roth's an interesting one. I mean, I really got a kick out of him in Inglorious Bastards. He was funny
He's,
there as an
he's
actor and
yeah.
stuff.
He just needs better writing. He just that's all. If he just here's the thing. 2007, the Thanksgiving trailer comes out right in Grindhouse.
Yeah.
You've seen. I'm assuming you've watched that.
Oh yes, yeah.
Great homage. It's fun. It has what you want. See, this is 2007. Keep in mind.
Hmm.
This working on 2023. A lot of a lot of attitudes have changed. So you could do your gore, but you can't do some of the nudity, trampoline cheerleader stuff. So that's neutered, and it's just like
Right.
everything is just completely watered down. So it's like, and you couldn't get Michael Biehn back as the sheriff.
Right.
I mean, you're kidding. I wonder if Eli Roth asked Michael Biehn, said no, because
He
it's just
might
like
have. He
you
might
couldn't
have
get
been like,
Michael
oh,
Biehn back. You had
yeah.
to replace him with Dempsey. It's like that's outrageous.
Yes.
It's like I think that would have helped because at least with Machete, you had everyone there. It's just
Yeah.
like, but see, that was 2010, so it's like if he made this Thanksgiving movie back in 2007 or 2000 between 2007 and 2010,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have gotten away with everything.
Right. Right.
Now you can't because everything's watered down, and it's all about like the internet too. It's like John Carver, the killer. He's on Instagram. It's like he's on Instagram. He's looking for likes and like hearts when you're on Instagram Live. No,
Right.
no. I mean, like, it'd be funny for like a second if John Carver was on MySpace in 2008 or something. That'd be funny, like 1 second.
Yeah.
It's like, but he's on Instagram. It's a
Right.
disaster. It's like,
I feel like we should have known when social media like first started to become a thing that it was going to end up in horror movies in the worst ways possible.
This is a really good example. I mean, also Coney 2012. Remember that was popular, but for goodness sake, we should start our movies. But it's
Yes. Well, yeah. So we've got two movies plus. Also you mentioned about the Wrong Side of Town. Our spotlight on a fight this
yes,
time this episode is the Human Shield with Michael Dudikoff, which is a fun end fight scene that we'll discuss. But yeah, our two movies, we've got Assault on Hill 400, and then we've got Machine, a 2007 film that Michael Madsen's in with Neal McDonough.
and Dave Russo.
Yeah, James. Yeah, so some people in that one. This one has a few more people in it. It's an Asylum film, which I don't think we knew it was an Asylum film going in.
Not at
Um,
the time, no. It's like, oh, the Asylum presents Assault
yeah,
90210, or what they call it.
I wonder what movie this is supposed to be. Like,
Hmm.
Isn't there an army movie that came out this year that's got like, I don't know who the people are in it. There are these young male actors that I see pictures of on IMDb, and I never know who they are. I think the only reason why I know who Timothée Chalamet is because my nephew showed me him on Saturday Night Live. He was like, "Oh, check this out! Check out how funny he is!" And it's like, it's one of those things I think
I,
with Saturday Night Live where it's like you're stuck with the cast that you grew up with, and it's hard to find other ones funny. But
it's like I know. I was like, well, where's my Phil Hartman and my Chris Farley? Like,
right, exactly. But
maybe,
but I also was like, I was kind of grateful that he was like showing me someone. I was like, oh, now I know who Timothée Chalamet is. If anybody asks me, like,
I don't think I've seen any of his movies. I just like something about him I just avoid. Just
yeah,
like, really care about his projects. It's like I'm not gonna watch Wonka. It's just
right,
like,
right, exactly. You can only
but
do so much.
so
Who's the other actor that was in that I think
with the
oh,
Wonka script,
Austin Butler is the actor. I don't know if you've ever
yeah,
seen this guy, Austin Butler. He looks like the biggest drip ever with his pictures and stuff. Like he looks
yeah,
like
I
just
see that. Maybe he could be a new Philippi, but I haven't seen Elvis.
yeah.
I know
He's
he's
he's 10 kinds of drippy. Like it's just like
uh,
I don't know where they come up with these guys. But oh, okay. So I thought he was doing a movie that was like I thought he was doing a movie that was like that was based on on maybe it wasn't him. I thought he was doing a military movie. Oh, maybe it's a TV miniseries. I mean, that's what the problem is.
what's called like
Um
Masters of the Air.
Masters of
I've
the
seen,
Air. Yeah. So I
I've
don't
seen it
know
because
if
I'm
this could be
tired
could
of more movies like that. So or
yeah,
shows. I know the show.
is this possibly like mock busting that? Would it be mock busting a TV show? Like
Well,
that can't be
I
right, can it?
mean, I think it's just trying to be like Hamburger Hill or Impossible Burger Hill, I guess it would be called.
This is Impossible Burger Hill. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
We can just end there. I can go over and say my notes. Next movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, would you want me to give it a quick? I'll give a quick synopsis.
Please go ahead.
But because there's some goofy stuff in this though that I think is worth us getting into for sure.
Go ahead.
In
Yeah,
particular with our friend Eric Roberts from the previous episode.
yeah, he's back.
Yeah,
He's like in it like more than Madsen. It's like,
right,
oh, Michael Madsen, I'm Dutch Coda. Like Dutch
right,
Coda, the General Dutch Coda. Great name.
right.
It's
Yeah,
tricky. It's right in the beginning. Like, oh, I gotta go up this hill.
right, exactly. Yeah. Well, so the idea with
Go
this
ahead.
movie is that there's a hill, Hill 400, that the Germans occupy, and the great thing about this hill is that it gives vantage points all over different parts of Germany, or this part of Germany that makes it really hard for the U.S. troops to get through. So. William Baldwin and Michael Madsen send the Second Ranger Battalion in to storm and take this hill, which they do. The problem is that for whatever reason, William Baldwin didn't plan on the fact that if they took the hill, they would need reinforcements to keep the hill. He's like, well, we can't send you anybody, even though Michael Madsen's kind of pissed about this too, because he's like,
Yeah,
why
he's
would you
really
do that? Yeah, so
like he's mad at Weaver. I wrote that in
right,
her name. It's just
that's right,
like
General Weaver. Yeah, that's Baldwin's General Weaver.
he's just
So
like, yeah,
yeah, so what happens is they kind of just, the movie transitions from a storming the hill movie to surviving the siege movie. So they've just
yeah.
got to survive the siege, and yeah, once they do, they go back and they see they see Michael Madsen and William Baldwin at their tent, and they toast them with some flasks of alcohol, and that's it. That's the movie.
That's
I mean,
about it.
yeah. So
Yeah. I
yeah, what'd you
mean,
think of Assault on Hill 400?
I thought maybe I gave it kind of a small pass. I mean, like, but I've seen this kind of plot before. It's like
Yeah.
it's like Hamburger Hill. I was like, I forget who said this now. I should have written it down. I was like, that's the finest soldiering I've ever seen. That might have been Madsen.
I think it was Madsen. It was at the end, or it could have been Baldwin. It could have been Baldwin saying that's the fun. Yeah, because he wasn't quite as he was trying to be gruff, but he was like not. He was trying to be like not as gruff as Madsen's gruff.
Did you notice? I think this was the beginning or maybe the middle. They talk. Madsen's talking, and it's like he's talking about being mortal, and then or something like that, and then there's his dialogue's cut off. Do you notice that? And he's like,
Yes.
there's a weird cut.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Machine gun. Fire. It's like I laughed at that, and then I guess you don't. Here's like you don't really care, but you care just enough to keep watching. So it was hard to write notes because there wasn't much going on. You know, we got the beginning. You know, news on the march, but it's newer news. It's like a long time ago. It's on a Hill 400. It's like you got your war exposition.
Yeah, because there's like you get that whole exposition at the beginning where they use stock footage that that stock footage that that World War II stock footage that's what the History Channel was built on initially until it became like Ice Road Truckers and Duck Dynasties and things like that. But
just the Channel, and then now it's just the Ice Road Channel. Or they still play Duck Dynasty? I mean, I think I just kind of slipped by it.
Oh, actually, and I think Duck Dynasty was A&E actually, so I think it was.
Oh, okay.
But were they Deadly Catch History Channel?
That might have been, yeah. Or Deadly Catch. I mean, that's pretty. You have to film on the high seas like that. It seems kind of hard. It's like It's like, I mean, that's impressive. Or was there like deep sea fishing, or maybe it's just Ice Road Truckers? That's even scarier than Deadliest Catch.
Right, exactly.
For truckers, that's not good.
No. I know, because we take for granted, like even in the Northeast, right, that it's like, well, if the roads are icy, you don't drive. But it's like in Alaska, I guess they're always icy, so you don't really have that option.
I mean, I guess they made a whole show out of it, kind of like that show we made up on the last podcast, Oh, and that was part of No Subject by putting them. I guess I could say it here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is Tweed Airport. Because we have in Connecticut, there's a place called Tweed Airport.
Yeah.
So, well, wait a second. Shannon Tweed Airport. So it's just coming soon to No Subject.
Yeah. Yeah. We were thinking it would be a great reality show with like fake, like, Gen Zers and young millennials, taking selfies and having drama while Shannon Tweed's trying to run kind of fake running the airport while the airport's actually being run by somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you can see like Shannon Tweed in her kind of airport stewardess outfit.
Right.
And it's like, hi, I'm Shannon Tweed. I used to be in movies that you saw on Skinamax, but now I need to grow up and be part of this airport.
Right. Well, I also love the idea because of Shannon Tweed doing like all those kinds of movies, she would be wearing like the sexy flight attendant outfit, despite the fact that she's running the whole airport, right? So, but like she still would wear that outfit.
Yeah. I mean, she hasn't. Well, wait, was she making an erotic thrillers on airplanes for Shannon Tweedster?
No, that would be great.
The other day or last pod was sexual politics, but just
sexual. Yeah, I mean, I guess the one in the airport, like on the plane, would be Mile High Death. Could that be what it is?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, guess who's going to be the killer?
Right.
You want to guess?
Who?
Andrew Stevens.
Oh, yes. Would he be a pilot? Would he be a co-pilot? He could be a pilot, right? He could be a pilot.
Yeah, he could be a pilot who surveys with his night-eye security jacket. Even though he's still a pilot, he still wears night-eye security.
That'd be awesome.
You can still kind of see it. It's like he's always night-eye security.
Yeah, that idea, like the fact that we got 3 of those, right? Is it 3 or 4 night eyes?
Well, we have 4 night eyes, yes.
That's right.
And all of them, except for the first one, right?
Yeah.
The first one has a night security. Maybe because it just I can't remember these anymore.
Yeah, it's so yeah. Those are ones that like I think probably do deserve revisiting at some point, like the night eyes, because when you think of like all the different like when you think of all the direct to video franchises that are out there, we usually do like erotic thriller franchises. We only do like Blood Fists, right, or American Ninjas, or those kinds of things. But the idea of an erotic thriller franchise, because the Night Eyes those would end up on like USA might have like a Up All Night would have
Right,
like an
USA
edited version.
or Decent Behavior. There's
Yeah.
4 of those, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, and
And
the
then,
other thing, oh, go ahead.
I would say Body Chemistry also. I think there's 4 of those.
That's right.
There's
You had a
3
bunch of
Decent Behavior,
those.
4 Body Chemistries.
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever found this that like you'd go through like the TV guide, right? And the TV guide would tell you like, oh, Night Eyes 2 is on at this time on HBO or Cinemax or whatever. And you go to tune in and it's actually another Night Eyes, right? It's like a different like they would get the number because it was like the programmers didn't care or it was just like any Night Eyes will do. And so like the TV guide would tell you one, but you'd get a different one. And it happened with like the other ones, like Body Chemistry and the other ones. It seemed like I would tune in for one and I'd get a different one.
Yeah, it just didn't care. It's like, oh, we have a Body Chemistry, put it here.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
I
was
think I'm talking about Salt on Hill now. Too.
yeah. One of the things is this is roughly based on a true story. So there was the sort of the Second Ranger Battalion when they surged Bergstein, Germany, sort of towards the end of World War II as they were kind of finishing up, taking over Germany. This is roughly based on that, but very roughly, right? I think it's as roughly as you can get. I mean, the movie is actually shot in Buffalo, New York, which Buffalo looks kind of nice there, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually, I thought the movie looked pretty good for.
Yeah,
I think the Asylum finally has some money.
yeah.
It's like, oh, we can make the movies look better now.
Right. Well, and I also think Christopher Ray, who's the director, who's the son of, I think he's the son of Fred Olin Ray. He's getting better at he's getting closer to what his dad was, or his dad is as a low budget director. I think he's getting better at shooting on a short window with a short budget, all that kind of stuff. I mean, granted, another one that he did was Top Gunners, America versus Russia, which
I did like that. We did like that one.
we did. It was a trip, right?
Yeah. I was a lot more fun than I was expecting because you got your Eric Roberts as the president, and Eric Roberts also was in this as Anderson, the war photographer.
Yeah. So what did you think? What did you think when we okay, so we our heroes, our battalion, they got their orders and they're out kind of marching around and they're kind of surveying the area as they're marching around. And all of a sudden, here's Eric Roberts taking a picture with a 2000s era digital camera.
Yeah, yeah, it seemed like wrong, but you know what? I let it go because Eric Roberts. I thought he was gonna pass away in the movie.
Right.
He had more screen time than Madsen and William Baldwin combined.
Yes. Yeah.
I was watching it, even in the back. I'm like, "You're still here. You're still here.
Right.
I'm watching you." It's like,
yeah.
I thought it was funny to see that. They can't afford those old cameras even for a prop.
Right. Exactly. It's like he's got this like this. I mean, because you could see it was like shiny. It was shiny like I remember my wife had a digital camera like that when she got it like in the late 2000s, and I remember in like 2014 or 2013 we were in New England, and I was introducing her to my family, and I remember we went to the beach to go get some pictures for her. She gets some pictures of the beach in Maine, and yeah, she had like digital camera it was like that. Only of course it was 7-8 years old at that point, so it was a little more worn, but it had that look. And I mean, the fact that like they wouldn't even think like, okay, like what kind of camera would you have in World War II? And I don't know, maybe because they were shooting in Buffalo, they couldn't get their hands on something from that era.
That's plausible enough. It's like, just give them one of those Nokia cameras or whatever.
Right, exactly.
It's like they probably put them on an iMac or something like that.
Right, exactly. And I love too that he just happened to have some developed on him, which didn't make any sense either. Like, because he's supposed to be giving these to like the military, and they're supposed to develop them and use them for things. But he just happened to have a couple on him, and he's like, here's a picture of you doing something. Do you want to keep it?
That's so funny. It's, most war photographers are like in real life, but that's not real. That would never happen in a movie. Like, this is a movie starring Eric Roberts as a war photographer. You're not going to get accuracy.
Oh yeah,
like,
it was so like kind of one of those things where you're like, this is what we're doing here, and it's like it's one of those points in a movie like this where like when you just out of nowhere see Eric Roberts with a circa 2000s digital camera taking pictures while the rest of these like young no-name actors are walking around with guns. It's one of those things where it's like, am I going to stick with this thing? or am I done? Am I, and I wonder too, like if there was like a point where like if for the Tubi stats, if like that, there's a lot of people that just dropped off there, like, I can't do this. This is just too much. Because it is one of those things that like it's a dividing line, right? You're just like, okay, I'm going with this. I got to see where this
Yeah,
goes because this is ridiculous.
if you're watching an Asylum movie for over half hour,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have to finish it.
Yes.
I've never really jumped ship on a movie on Tubi. I mean, like, unless something was wrong with the stream,
Yeah.
just like, I think, I don't know. I thought this was okay at best. I mean, like, I outright hate it because that's what they did. Like, they make it so you don't really hate it. It's just
Right.
it's like,
Well, one of the things I think they did do, one of the things that the Asylum does a little bit better, I do think, in terms of like dealing with a cast where you've got like, Michael Madsen and William Baldwin and Eric Roberts, and you probably only got them for a day to shoot with them. I would say
yeah,
it's probably what they have here. I think the way that they did, I mean, I'm wondering too, because it only says Buffalo was where the film was shot. Yeah, and I'm wondering with this being shot in Buffalo, but with Michael Madsen and William Baldwin scenes only taking place in that tent, um, if they even stepped foot in Buffalo, like it doesn't say on the IMDb that any of it was filmed in LA, but we know they have the Asylum Studios in LA from the last movie, that
oh,
from America, Top
somewhere
Gunners. So
else.
I mean, it's very possible they were just like there. I mean, Eric Roberts was definitely in these scenes, right? He's on
Yeah,
location.
yeah. But Madsen's like, oh, I'm in a tent. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna be in a tent. It's like,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm in a tent. I'm General Code. I'm in a tent. It's
I
like
mean,
that's an easy gig for him. I mean, a lot of his movies have been easy gigs for old Mike Mads.
yeah,
The
yeah,
original Mads Mikkelsen.
yeah, and
So
I guess the deal is with him and Baldwin with their scenes that Baldwin is a 3-star general and Madsen's only a 1-star general, so he can only suggest, but he can't
I
because
noticed that.
yeah, because what happens is that as the movie goes on, right? When William Baldwin's like, we can't give you reinforcements to the second battalion, and Madsen's like, what do you mean you can't give them reinforcements? This is ridiculous, man. You got to get out there and send them reinforcements. Also, William Baldwin's
I thought it was like
like
Alex Jones.
it's kind of more else. Yeah, yeah. It's a false
That's
flag, guys.
hilarious.
It's a false flag. Get out of there. Get out of there.
Yeah, that's a funny idea. If Alex Jones was like a general in Asylum 410, whatever his movie's called. So it's like,
With a sequel. Can you imagine him like this big roly poly guy with like the general the World War II general helmet with the stars on it, just like
yeah,
wandering around.
it's like yeah, he's like he hits like his schematics of the World War. That's a false flag. Like,
It's a false flag. Like, no, the war's actually happening. That's a false flag event. The deep state calls the war. It's the whole thing was created by the deep state to get you to ration your meats. It's a false flag. They want to make you eat crickets. That's the whole point. They're trying to get you to eat crickets.
like, and I can see, and then like have some like hero guy, like I don't know who it would be. I don't know. Stallone. The real flag, not a false flag. It's the American flag.
Yeah.
That's the flag I support. It's like
What would be amazing is if Stallone was playing instead of Barney Ross, if he was playing like Bernie Ross, right? Barney Ross's dad, and in World War II with Alex Jones as as like a general, and maybe just throwing Mickey Rourke with a cowboy hat, like he was in War Pigs.
or might as well get Dolph Lundgren too. It's like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not a general. I'm just a private.
right.
Private.
Right. Yeah, I'm really not a German. I'm actually from the Foreign Legion, but I'm here to help you guys.
Well, that's just really funny. Like, I'm not German at all. I'm not Nazi.
Right, exactly.
It's just like, that's what's good about Dolph. You don't usually hear like his like real accent. He's done a really good job in his American accent.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
good at well, just or his Dolph voice, like on the Quest thing. It's
Yes.
like
Yes.
it's a good trade. It's like, oh, it's a good trade. Very good boy. That's how I did that bit before. But it's so funny. Yeah, so yeah, you get all the Expendables, but in World War II time,
Right.
but you get the same cast. It's
Yes.
brilliant.
With Alex Jones. Yeah.
With Alex Jones as the General Coda.
It could be another version of Inglorious Bastards, right? It could be
Yes.
like Expendable Bastards. That's what you call Expendable Bastards.
Expendable Bastards. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
with Alex Jones, and then with all the Expendables, because they would all be like different, like they would all work in World War II settings. I think.
it works. As I think I've said this in another pod again, is that Stallone doesn't really do besides Victory. like
Yeah.
war movies.
Right. Yeah, we should talk to Stallone about this. I think he, you could do this on the cheap for 100, 90 minutes, and I mean, I don't know. See, the things with the Alex Jones thing, I do wonder if because of, I mean, he is only Elon Musk is like okay with working with Alex Jones, right? Like most people kind of know. I mean, it's like Alex Jones, he's sort of like tried to paint this whole thing with the Sandy Hook massacre as like, oh, I was just reporting things that I heard. I didn't really intentionally do anything. But when you listen to the actual recordings, he was like saying that like these parents were making it up, these kids didn't exist, or these kids, all that kind of, it's like really horrible stuff. And so it's like anybody who put him in a movie, it would just be like within 10 minutes, it would just be all over Twitter. Like, how can you put this guy in the movie?
Now,
But
technically, Alex Jones is in a movie, which is called
right,
Amerigeddon, which is very similar
right,
to Civil War.
yes,
And it's like almost the same plot as Civil War. Civil War ripped off Amerigeddon. But yeah, Alex Jones as Senator Jones, and
yes,
Ellen McCord, and the guy who owns Curves, the
right.
gym, is the main character. And it's on Tubi. It might be on Amazon Prime. People should watch it. It's really funny.
It is on Tubi. So I know Will from Exploding Helicopter covered it, and I remember
Yeah.
his line about it, which is hilarious because I don't think Will, I don't, being from England, right? I think, anybody from outside the U.S. Doesn't understand that, like, especially like alt-right wingers, like kind of the crazy fringe of the right wing, they think the UN is this like massive organization that's trying to create like one planetary government or anything, and the rest of the world understands that the UN has like no power. It's just kind of this bumbling kind of organization that's just sort of there to like, it sounds like a good idea, but it's not really there. I remember
Yeah.
Will said the idea that the UN, an organization that can't even get like the drink orders correct on an event or whatever, like that they're having or presentation they're showing.
They can't even get the right juice boxes. They have to get
Right.
like Stop and Shop. They can't even get Juicy Juice.
Right, exactly. The idea that that organization is going to take over America is just so patently absurd. But like for these alt-right wingers, like it's this is kind of like for Alex Jones, for example, this is the way he gets money, is he just says like, oh, the UN wants to take over the United States. There's this article here in Newsweek, which didn't even exist, right? But this article in Newsweek says that the UN's trying to take over America. Go buy my supplements quickly. If you don't buy my supplements, it's going to happen,
Like I like that he has supplements. We should probably get off to Alex Jones in a minute, but I mean, like he has supplements, but he's still kind of overweight.
Right.
So it's just,
well, because he doesn't take the supplements; he just sells them.
Oh, okay. Because I think there was a clip when he was really kind of going, when he got canceled more.
Yeah.
Like he's like shirtless. It's like I'm taking the supplements. It's like why? It's like that guy who's always shirtless, that comedian guy. What's his name? I didn't think he's that funny either, but he's like he always talks about going to Russia. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I forget his name, but he's like a wacky dude. I think the movie Van Wilder is based on him. It's like,
yes, I think I know what you're talking. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
let me double check it.
Yeah.
Burt Kreischer. He's
right.
He looks like Burt Kreischer, Alex Jones, like an older. Well, they're both old. But
Right.
I don't get it. Why does he have to be shirtless? But that's just I don't. Both of them. But
yes. They do need some shirtlessness. That's the key. They do need some shirtlessness. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, so we're talking about World War II Expendables is a fun idea. I mean, like, I think, or maybe not the Alex Jones. It's too controversial. Maybe maybe get Liam Neeson. I'm just trying to shoehorn or I can get Trump. But anything to shoehorn my impressions. It's just like,
because
gotta win for Taylor. Gotta win for Taylor. Okay. Yeah, Alvin Bragg. Wait, I haven't had fun yet. It's like.
Liam Neeson would be great as like the the character that Mike Myers had in Inglourious Bastards. He would be great as that like kind of that old like English general or higher up or something that's like sending maybe sending Lee Christmas into battle. Like, I want you to team up with these guys, whatever. I don't do a good Liam Neeson. The only thing I will find you. That's like I think it's the best I can do with Liam Neeson is.
I'm a World War II general. I'm going nonstop. It's like I'm in the land of blood and honey. It's my new movie. I think it's called, or Retribution. I'm in a car. It's like I looked up Retribution. It's like it's only on Stars. It's like I don't have Stars, so I can't watch Retribution. But it's like Oh, I did see. We need to probably go finish up Assault on 416. It was called, but,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
or Assault on Hill 316. Stone Cold Steve
Right.
Austin.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, I just lost my train of thought.
Something you saw something on Stars.
Oh, right, yeah, Retribution. Oh, I lost my train of thought about that. Was it had Liam Neeson? Oh, no, I forgot. Oh, it'll come back to me. But I hate when that happens on live live podcasting.
Yeah. Well, now I had a couple other things as we wrap up here.
Oh, go please.
So
Okay.
one of the things is that we had one of the characters was named Private Kettle Hut, and so I just kept thinking of Ross Kettle from
Yes, Kettle
yeah,
Chips.
yeah, Kettle Chips, yes, and
Oh, I
you know,
remember what I was thinking too. But
okay, yeah, because I
that's
said
why.
this movie could have used some roller skating ninjas, for
Why
sure,
can't
from
why
Lethal Ninja.
that's the thing. Ninjas were around before World War II. Just like
Yeah,
it's like um let's make it we see really insane World War II ideas. You see Vietnam wacky things like when the war raged in the Philippines.
right,
But
yeah.
like but World War II it was always so serious about World War II. It's like because no one talking about World War One either.
Well, I do wonder if we're going to get there on World War II because I think what's happening with World War II, why we're seeing so many of these World War II movies, is one, the costumes are cheap and the locations are cheap, right? You can go in the woods in
But
Buffalo and be like you're good, right? So if you can go in the woods in Buffalo and you've got the outfits, you can do it. But also too, I think with the Iraq War and Afghanistan, there's so much about that war that's just so complicated. With the PTSD and how the war turned. It wasn't an actual success for America that
well,
like
have a Stop Loss starring the original Ryan Phillippe, not
right,
the fake. It's
right,
like
exactly. Well, yeah, because
like
you have movies, but like they don't let it doesn't Iraq and Afghanistan don't lend themselves to Asylum style movies or like low
that.
budget kind of things. Whereas like World War II is a very obvious one. Like, Americans fighting the Nazis, trying to save the free world, right? Like everybody can get behind it. And so you can kind of have that rah-rah, like veteran kind of thing at the same time that you're doing something that has like no complications, right? There's very little I mean, they try to get into some complicated things here with like the nurse, the German nurse, and how she's like, I don't care about you soldiers, I'm just trying to save people's lives. And
Well, yeah, it's trying to get the movie Fury. That movie came out a while ago now, which I hate to even say, but just
yeah.
like so I don't know. What did I say? Oh, the movie I was mentioning, yes, which I saw when I was looking up Bautista. When we were talking about My Spies, supposed to mention that I saw the trailer for Final Score, and
Mhm.
I know I've seen it, but I think it's worth a rewatch. I think I
Final score.
it's like sudden death, but at the West Ham soccer stadium. It has Batista as the hero, and Ray Stevenson as the villain, and Pierce Brosnan hanging around. Have you seen this?
Let's see.
Came out
It's instead of Martin Ford and
might be.
Pierce Brosnan, yeah.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, he's like an Irish. I saw a trailer. I know I've seen the movie. I think it just kind of one eye out the other in that one, but I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's on all the free streamers as we're talking here. Well,
Yeah,
it's on Roku Channel, Prime. I think it's on Tubi. It's
because we could do that one down the line too if you want. But I
oh
just
yeah,
um maybe we should because that will give me a reason to rewatch it. It's just like by the way, I forgot to mention like 45 minutes ago. It's like,
yeah. So it takes place at West Ham. That's interesting
yeah,
because so my soccer team, the team that I'm a fan of, is um, is Arsenal. That's my team. So their West Ham is another London team. I don't know. West Ham's their rivalry. I don't think is with Arsenal. I think it's with another like lower one, like Milford or something like that. They have like a people are listening from England probably are like, no, we know who their rival is, but but the Hammers is what they were called, West Ham, and
oh, really?
they're
That's
yeah.
perfect.
They're a fascinating team because they're one of those ones that kind of goes up and down between the higher level and the lower level. So it was filmed inside Upton Park. So when I used to watch them play on the Fox Soccer Channel, Upton Park is where they played. I guess they have a new stadium now.
That's interesting how they do that because it's like it's a good idea, but it's basically sudden death. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw the trailer. It's like sudden death 3. Oh, the other thing I want to mention, because I'm on Instagram, I scroll. You see those videos, and you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling into the next video. I'm
Hmm.
assuming that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So most of them all right now are Taylor Swift stuff, but sometimes there's like some weird video, like look into this video and you'll see something, you'll hear something different each time. And it's like these weird kind of English people like singing, but it
Hmm.
all different. Like it could sound like Bart Simpson bouncing. You might have heard this. You should look this up. It's like these weird sounds that these UK audiences making during soccer. It's like Bart Simpson bouncing. That's what it sounds like.
That's
Bart
awesome.
Simpson bouncing, and it's just like, and it could be something else like coffee bean bouncing, and it's like, but it sounds like Bart Simpson bouncing, but also could sound like coffee bean bouncing also.
Yeah.
So it's like, so take a look. I maybe I scroll too much on Instagram, but I mean, every
Yeah.
4 seconds it's Taylor Swift right now because I guess she has a new album.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, the Dead Poets Society. I know it's not called that, but it's
No,
like,
but it's yeah. Somebody posted on Instagram like how kind of indulgent she was in talking about it, like how she's like this great poet or something. It's like you make
oh,
pop songs. You somehow trick the world into believing that you like she's essentially like a slightly less talented Michelle Branch who's tricked the world into believing, and luckily not a lot of people listen to this because I think if you come for Taylor Swift, like the Swifties come for you. They
oh my
they get
goodness.
you. I respect that
She did
she's made a lot of
supposedly
money,
ring
but
the Super Bowl, supposedly.
right.
Should have
Yeah.
bet $5
Yeah.
in Las Vegas. The fix
Yeah.
was it. Freaking 8 men out, Black Sox. So it's
Right,
like,
right.
supposedly.
Yeah.
But go ahead, yes. Yeah, you can't make fun of Swifties.
No, I think if you make fun of Taylor Swift, the Swifties come for you, and they come in droves, which would make sense considering like she has so many fans. She's like selling out so much music or something. But I think the thing is, her fans are so young that Michelle Branch came and went before they understood music, so they don't know that she's just essentially doing. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. Becoming a Michael Madsen all of a sudden.
Oh,
Right,
Taylor
but
Swift.
Taylor Swift. These people don't realize that Michelle Branch was doing Taylor Swift back in the 2000s. Before that, it's like
Sean Red's making the freaking frogs gay. It's just like,
right, exactly. Yeah. Good old Alex Jones.
yeah. That's something. I mean, like you just mentioned these great 2000s people like Michelle Branch. Are You Happy Now? Great song.
Yeah. Yeah, it does make me wonder, like with the frogs gay thing, like, you know,
Go back
h-
to go back to
how
Alex.
viable is that to like be on like if I were to tell you like if you and I were doing this show here, right,
All right.
and I just started going on a rant about how Ty, that there's people putting stuff in the water that makes frogs gay and they're going to make us all gay too, right? Like you would be kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to do another podcast with Matt. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, right, right. But there are people out there that hear that and go, oh, I want to give that guy money. I'm going to give him money when he says stuff like that, which is I don't know how you find that audience, but I guess Alex Jones figured out how to do it.
I'm just picturing people who really, really like Ron Paul, not Rand Paul,
Hmm.
because everyone, they all look like Ron Paul.
Right, right,
It's just a bunch of like a sea of Ron Pauls.
right,
And
right.
so look him up. People know who I'm talking. People know who Ron Paul is, but look him
Yeah,
up anyway. Like, oh, okay. So you'll go, oh,
right,
okay.
right, right.
But
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, the wrap up on Assault.
yeah.
What did we make fun of it for? I think it was all the number jokes, right? It's like,
Right. We were joking about like like what was it like like there's the rap group out of Atlanta, the 404 boys, right? Because 404 is their area code. So the
yeah,
assault on the 404 boys or assault on quarter to four.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's on
like,
quarter four. Yeah, it's all at 9:15. It's like, wait, are you talking about time? Are you assaulting
right.
time?
Yeah.
But it was just
It
okay at best.
Yeah, I think the it's like for an hour, it's a little bit under an hour and a half, and I think the the problem with these movies, these movies are always going to have is that you've got these names that are fun, right? You've got Madsen, you've got William Baldwin, you've got Eric Roberts, but
Right.
then you've got so many people that aren't so much fun. I mean, the main character is this guy Josh Nunzio. He plays a lieutenant who's like kind of the leader thing. He's got like this shaved hairdo that would not have been in style in the 40s. And he has this sort of interactions with this actress Anna Krempholz, who plays the Nurse Ursula, and it's supposed to be like giving his character depth and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is I just want to see Madsen and William Baldwin arguing with each other. That's really what I
That
was.
was that was hilarious. I mean, like,
Yeah,
but also there's a lot of shots of like Madsen like in the background. But your point about being a 1-star, 3-star general thing is
right.
interesting.
Yeah,
I thought that was, I didn't really catch that until you said it. It's like
It's on their
Right.
helmets. The stars are on their helmets. So they've got. So I mean, the
Oh,
other thing too is I think Madsen's helmet was a little big for him, which was
yeah.
also kind of funny.
It's
It's
his
like,
clothes. Thing
yeah,
is, his helmet's like his whole face. Like
right.
I can't really see my eyes. Just helmet on my head.
Right, because you notice he tries to use hand gestures to kind of push the helmet back, like kind of
Yes.
surreptitiously move the helmet back up, and he's like, you guys, I'm gonna go out there. If we can like this thing here, we can go in here. Well, we'll take Berlin by Christmas, and it's like,
It's just, that's like how it's joke every time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Somehow my Madsen is becoming an Alex Jones impression. I listened to this podcast called Knowledge Fight that makes fun of Alex Jones, and maybe
Oh,
that's the problem. Because yeah, it used to be like Madsen. Usually, if I could do some mans, like, come on, man, come on, let's get out of here, man. It's like I could maybe
oh yeah,
get it
that's
back to
total
Madsen.
that's Alexander Jones. It's just
Yeah,
like I do
that's a
my
false flag. I mean, Madsen would be great as a fake version of Alex Jones. Like if you did like an
yeah.
On the Line or something like that, or like a movie like that, where it's like he could do a talk radio, like a new version of talk radio, where he's doing the Eric Bogosian
Oh, I'd
part.
love to see that because if you not sure if you own Supreme Sanction yet, but just if you buy the DVD, you got Madsen commentary. It's like, look, that's my credit. Me. Oh, what's funny because I listened to that commentary years and years ago, and I rewatched the movie and like, oh, I'll play the commentary. Like I remember everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's what they. I'm going with my Liam Neeson on that one. It's like, have you seen the movie Unknown?
No, no.
Well, it's like I lost my memory, and then like I guess Aiden Quinn like takes his uh identity, and then of course then let me guess that Liam Neeson's like a military badass guy,
Oh, right.
and they're fighting. It's like I remembered everything. It's like it's perfect. If we should watch the trailer because it's perfect for the trailer.
Yeah.
Like remember those Liam Neeson movies where you just have he has like that one good one liner in the trailer. It's just
Right.
almost like Dolph Lundgren. Like look at nonstop. I'm trying to save it. I'm trying to save it.
Right.
And it's like
I
I'm
yeah,
not trying to. I'm trying to save it. It's like,
yeah, I kind of remember this now. It's funny because this movie did like it has like a
yeah.
$30 million budget, but it did like over 130 million worldwide. So this was like
What
a big
unknown or
deal.
wait? Which one?
Unknown,
I mean,
unknown.
$1 million. I mean, it's a good. There's a part where like January Jones is in it, and like there's a
Right.
part that she did something really, really, really stupid in it. It's like you're stupid. It's like
Right.
you should watch it because it's like you're very stupid right now, January. Like no
Yeah,
one's in February. I guess I could
right.
be.
Well, the other thing that's weird about January Jones is that like she was really good in those X-Men movies as Emma Frost,
Yeah, she was
and
one of that. She was hilariously wooden. Yeah.
yeah, and she was good in Mad Men when they kind of let her character be good, but it's like she just does not always get the parts. It's like a lot of the parts that she gets, it's just like look shocked, look freaked out, look or whatever. And yeah, it's interesting. Like yeah, I mean I thought she was great as Emma Frost, and it's like yeah, but she just doesn't always get those parts. She's just, and
I
I
think
mean with Mad Men the thing was that she got pregnant and they were like, okay, let's have her gain weight and like be eating a lot of like like
I
pudding and
can't
stuff like
remember that.
that.
Very funny. Like, look,
Yeah,
Jared Jones is fat. It's like,
right. And it's like and, I mean they made her character so unlikable too as the show went on, and it was kind of like, why are they doing this to her? Like what is the point of this? But it was like like
hey, go ahead, please.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say, I mean, it made sense that she would want to divorce Don Draper. I mean, he was a jerk, but it's like then it was like she just became like really, really unlikable, and it was like, like yeah, and I guess that also I don't know how that affected her career because then it's like if you become unlikable on the
Yes, I was
show,
about to say that. I was just
yeah,
about to say, like, wait a second. Back in the early 2010s, like we like to have like these villains in
yes,
TV shows that are like, but they're just regular actors. You look at Joffrey,
right,
you know, and look at January Jones, like you're mean. It's like
right, right,
you're a
exactly,
mean person to Don Draper or Jon Snow's or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
like It's
Yeah,
like,
because they never did that on The Sopranos, right? Like you never had situations where Carmela Soprano was a jerk, and it was like, oh, we're sympathetic to Tony. It was like, no, Tony's the kind of the one that's like the jerk. Like you like him sometimes, you hate him sometimes. That's kind of the whole point, you know. But they weren't ever like, let's turn Carmela into like the biggest jerk ever, and have her like treat Tony horribly the whole time. It was like, no, no, no. Like she's our sympathetic one. She's married to Tony. She likes being rich. She likes telling AJ's friends that some vase cost $3,000 or whatever, like that was her character.
it almost was like The Simpsons. Like she's like the Italian Marge, and like
Right.
Tony
Yes.
Soprano was Homer.
Right.
It's just like,
Yes.
AJ was Bart and Meadow was Lisa. And there's no
Right.
baby, but can't have everybody.
Right.
So it's just
Yeah.
like, so
Well,
it's
because what happened with The Sopranos, right, was that The Sopranos, they ended it in the sixth season. If they had kept going, they would have had to add a baby to the show. It's funny. There's that point where they kind of act like they kind of almost like pay homage to that kind of thing when AJ, when he's got the job in the construction site and he's dating the girl who has a baby, and he wants to kind of be a dad to the baby and all that stuff. And it's like they easily could have, had they zigged in that direction, they could have just moved AJ in with the girl and the baby and been like, oh, we've got a baby on the show now. And instead, like, the girl dumps him. And it was almost like David Chase saying, yeah, we're not adding a baby to the show. We're not doing that.
well, it's funny, people still get mad at the finale of The Sopranos. Don't stop.
Right.
It's like, so it's like, people. I remember when that was, it's like that was the ending. It ends so
Right.
abruptly. Now, okay, I see their point. Maybe like a gunshot, or maybe finish the scene and then wrap up with a slow black
Yeah.
fade to black. I think people wouldn't have cared as much, but it was so abrupt.
Yeah.
You don't like abrupt back in 2008, 2000, whatever that show ended. But it's like, nowadays it would just like had a cliffhanger and you never know what happens, but it wouldn't be that abrupt.
Well, the other thing too, right, is that Comcast has such horrible service that when you have it abrupt like that, because I heard like Comcast, like their phone lines were jammed with people calling and complaining because you just assumed, everybody assumed that it was Comcast that did it. It wasn't the show, because Comcast is so horrible that it makes more sense that your cable cut out for that scene than
That's hilarious. And see, that's what's smart about Law and Order, because even if they don't have the executive producer Dick Wolf, they do it right fast.
right. Yes. Yeah.
They didn't say
It's not Comcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. What's that? I always, when I used to record Law and Order on TV, I always made sure it was like a couple extra minutes longer because I didn't want to get cut off. And
yeah.
we find the defendant. Like, oh, do you want to delete this recording? It's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's guilty.
Right, because what happened was that they created this, they created this whole system where the credits roll while the next episode starts. And so so if you don't do a few minutes over, you miss the end of it, because it's like they're already starting the next episode at that time. And it's like, and then the other thing too, did you notice like how TV channels now, they have like weird start times, like 3 minutes after, stuff like that. So like they're all trying to game the DVR.
Oh my god, they're trying to goof up my DVR, man.
Yeah.
So I just make it 5 minutes. It's like,
you have to.
Like you have to 5 minutes. I remember, we should probably go to our next movie actually, but when they don't do this, or maybe they have, because I don't follow the new shows at the moment because I'm lazy. But when the new 24 show came out, 24 like Legacy, it was right after the Super Bowl.
Oh, right. Yes.
And the Super Bowl was like 400 hours long, so I knew that was going to happen, so I added 3 extra hours to the recording of 24 Legacy, or 2 hours. That was the highest I can go.
Yeah.
It's like, so it said like 3 hours on the recording. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, right, because of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was the thing, right? Was that the TV channels that would have the Super Bowl, they would pay so much to have the Super Bowl that it was like, let's premiere. Like, remember NBC used to do like a new like like a special Friends episode that would have like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Tom Selleck in it or something like that, as like a thing after the Super Bowl.
I don't know us, Basson.
right. Exactly.
I wish he said that. I never watched that episode. I think I saw like the last credit of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think he said something about it a few years ago, Van Damme. It's like,
being on Friends.
It's not so weird to be on Friends. It's like, I guess he has a new movie coming out. Jean-Claude Van Damme's.
Yes, Darkness of Man. Yeah,
Yeah,
May
looks like
4th, I
July.
believe. Yeah,
When's
yeah.
it come out?
I think it's in May. I think it's
Oh, that's
supposed to be.
soon.
Yeah, I think we're gonna,
Well, we're
so
recording May. It's going to be this month.
yeah, it's directed by James Cullen Brezak. So if you remember, he did so he
You Hot
did
Seat?
yeah, he did Hot Seat exactly,
Yeah,
and he
Hot
and
Seat.
Beyond the Law, the
Oh, yeah.
Seagal movie.
Well, Hot Seat is good because you got your drama, Johnny Rose.
Right. So May 21st, that's our date for this. May
That's soon.
21st. Yeah, that's soon. We're getting there. Yeah. So
Yeah, trailer looked pretty. It looked pretty solid, as long as it could be like the new Shepherd or something.
yeah, actually, I think for people listening, right, for people that are listening to this podcast, when this podcast drops, it'll be like a week.
Yeah.
It'll be within a week. So for us, we've got a longer wait, but for people listening,
Yeah.
it's going to be soon after. It'll be like next week, for those people.
Oh,
listening.
that's true. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Next week I have a new movie coming out, Dr. Zaman. It's like
yeah, exactly. Well,
I'm finally doing more material on Van Damme. Usually I just go Bison. As long as you just keep talking,
right.
you can do more. That's the trick to impressions. You just kind of keep going.
Well, and one link to the Bison, one link, right, is that, this movie, of course, that we were talking about, Assault 400, was shot in Buffalo. So you got Buffalo, you got Bison.
Beefalo.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We're going to go to our next movie. But I mean,
well, what we'll do here, why don't we take a break? We'll take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about The Machine, or just Machine, not The Machine. Machine, our second Madsen movie. All right, so we'll be right back, everyone.
We'll be right back.
It's the early 90s in LA. The war on drugs is raging, and Detective John Bainbridge is the LAPD's secret weapon against crime. Former Special Forces in Nam, he's a cop on the edge. When he and his partner Geary uncover a potential human trafficking ring, it doesn't take long before John Bainbridge realizes this thing goes all the way to the top, which doesn't scare him. That just means they'll fall that much harder when he takes them down. Part send-up and part love letter to early 90s action films, Bainbridge will take you back to the golden days of Canon, PM Entertainment, and AIP. You can get it in paperback or on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited from Amazon. Follow the link in the podcast description. My newest novel, Don's House in the Mountains, is available now. It follows Don Veazey, who after 20 years has finally made it as a writer, going from an AP English teacher to richer and more famous than he ever could have imagined. In the process, his wife Lois, feeling alienated and resentful of her husband's success, has filed for divorce, forcing Don to move to a house in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. With time alone to reflect, he's able to see how his new wealth and fame has affected his life in ways he never expected. Maybe the biggest of these is his new house, which is bigger and nicer than anything he's ever had in his entire life, but the longer he lives there, the more he gets the sense that it might have magical powers. But that can't be right. A house can't have magical powers, can it? Pick up Don's House in the Mountains today. You can find it at Amazon in paperback and in Kindle.
All right, we are back, and we're getting ready to look at our second of two Michael Madsen movies here. We've got Machine, so not The Machine, but Machine, and so this is an interesting one. This is probably the earliest of any movie we've done on the site here, during these podcasts here.
Yeah,
we've been
2007, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is a bit of an older one. It's one of the interesting features of it is that it features two Oscar winners. So Nick Vallelonga, who plays the mob boss Santo, and then Brian Hayes Curry, who has a small part as like his character name is Top, but he's like Michael Lasar's the main character's boss. They co-wrote and they won Oscars for the movie The Green Book. So we actually have Oscar winners in this movie. We don't see Oscar winners that often when we do.
I mean, if I was Nick Vallelonga, I would be definitely milking this.
Yes.
I would. Yeah. My goodness, they should re-release Machine on 4K.
Right, exactly.
I don't think it looks any better, but it's like
yeah, no, just like featuring Oscar winners. So they're not only within the movie, they're the producers, but yeah, I mean Nick Vallelonga, he was in a movie called Pay Dirt that we covered on the podcast here with
Val Kilmer, right?
Yeah, Val Kilmer, and so we had Francis Rizzo III from Kilmercast. He was on the podcast and talked about Pay Dirt, and he was the one who first pointed that out. He was like, this guy, Nick Vallelonga, he won an Oscar for The Green Book, and I was like, I can't believe it, but yeah, okay, that's crazy. Yeah, So I'll do a quick synopsis. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, so the movie is written and directed by a guy named Michael Lazar, which I don't know about you, but he feels kind of like a poor man's Eric Palladino. Um, and there's probably a good chance that he's going to listen to this, just because usually with these sort of lower budget ones, the people who made them find whoever is doing them. So hey, I'm not saying you made a horror. That I'm not saying anything about your movie, just or about you individual. It's just saying you kind of are a poor man's Eric Palladino. For us watching the movie, that's like kind of the best frame of reference that we can put you in.
It's a good connection.
Yeah.
Comparison.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a dirty cop who does a job as a dirty cop that ends up getting him on the wrong side of crime boss Nick Vallelonga, his character name is Santo, and his kind of underling, or the guy right below him is Michael Madsen, who plays a character named Ray. And I guess like James Russo is also a dirty cop who's the one who got Michael Lazar in trouble with these guys. I don't know exactly what the deal is, or he was like, he's also a dirty cop in this situation. Yeah. And then Neal McDonough plays another dirty cop who's kind of working in a different angle. And so he's kind of also this like, this other player, this sort of wild card player who's out there doing stuff. And there's a character named Thea, played by Lisa Arturo, and she starts dating Michael Lazar's character, his fit character. And so she's like trying to give him jobs on the side, where again, as a police officer, what he's doing is he's like just essentially stealing money from criminals because they can't do anything about it because he's a cop. And then he ends up stealing from the wrong criminals that are associated with Santo, and Santo wants his money back. So to pay Santo back, Santo is being investigated by the police in LA. And essentially there's 3 witnesses that if he takes these 3 witnesses out, his debt will be paid. So that's the deal. So he's got to take out these 3 witnesses. At the same time, he's pulling other jobs. And the whole thing kind of comes to a head as it usually does. There's also another crime boss named Cho, who's sort of horning in on Santo's turf. That's it. It's kind of,
nice job on a plot description.
Yeah.
You must have watched it last night.
Yes, I did. I watched it kind of like late last night. I did. Yeah.
Well, I remember when this was coming out because I thought the cover didn't look too good, and I saw the trailer. It's like, oh, I like my Michael Madsen. Oh, my Michael Madsen. Like, I'm gonna avoid it. So 17 years later, basically.
Yes.
Was that 17 years later? Just about, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm finally gonna get to it. It's like, well,
right. Well,
go ahead, please.
Well, I was going to say the problem you run into with these movies, right, is that you're Michael Lazar, right? You're a poor man's Eric Palladino. That's kind of what you're bringing to the table. And you've got Neal McDonough, who is just killing it as this wild card baddie, right? Yeah. You've got Madsen, who can just sit behind a table and smoke a cigarette and just, gruffly say things, and he's killing it, right? And so it's really hard. And even like Nick Vallelonga's character, Santo, he's kind of a fun baddie, fun like crime boss kind of character. And so there's that thing of like, why do I want to? What is it about the Michael Lazar character that's pulling me in? And there really isn't anything, right? I mean, it's like, I don't like this guy. I don't want to see him succeed. I'm happy if Michael Madsen puts a bullet in the character's head or Neal McDonough takes him out. I would be fine with all of that. Like, it all would have worked for me. And I think that's the problem, is you got to make your main character likable. Poor man's Eric Palladino isn't always going to be enough to sell.
No, because I think Eric Palladino is usually unlikable. So
Right.
So it's like that double unlikable. That's not good.
Right.
And that's the problem. And I just feel bad for this in my notes that I just felt bad for Madsen and Neal and Russo because it looks low rent from the jump.
Yes.
Which is I know it probably is a budget issue, but still, you make it look a little better. You have Michael Madsen, you have Neal McDonough.
Now I have to ask that when you watch this on Tubi, did you get the trailer before the movie started?
Yes, I did.
Yes. What was that about?
I'm like, what, they like sourced it from the DVD by accident?
Right. Like, you're watching it and you're like, wait, what's going? Did I accidentally? Because with Tubi sometimes they offer the trailer, right? You can see the trailer separately, and I was like, did I accidentally click on the trailer? And then I look at it, it's like, no, hour and a half is like the movie. Yeah. So you get this you get this like 2-minute trailer that you have, that's part of the movie when you watch it, and then there's like an introduction that's like almost like a TV show introduction to the start of the movie before you actually get the movie.
I noticed that. Like, this is already on a wrong foot. And this, but I guess, was it worth waiting 17 years to watch this? I just remember it when it was like a Tommy K, or that's the place we went to called Tommy K's.
Yeah.
Maybe we might have been on Blockbuster. Like, and like, I don't know, because that cover just looks very. Have you seen the cover? It's like low rent much, but I mean, like, but it's funny for Madsen though, as Ray. It's like, it looked like it took effort for him to actually look backwards in his usual scenes at the bar. Like, all right, I'll look backwards. It's like, did you notice that?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
like, look over there. It's like,
Yeah.
like, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
See, what saves this movie? Also, there's Thea, as I called her, fake Rosanna Arquette.
Yes, yeah, that's the space she's inhabiting. Lisa,
Yeah.
the actress Lisa Arturo. It's funny because these like how like the actors and actresses don't put their birth dates anymore, or they don't put the year.
No,
they
no.
put their day, but not their year. So she doesn't put her birthday at all. But yet
really?
in her trivia, it says she graduated high school in 1986, and it's like, well, it doesn't take much for me to put the two together that you were born in 1968. It's like, maybe you should remove that piece of trivia from your bio.
Yeah, Lisa, you still have time. You can still do
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I know you're known for Machine, 2007, and probably other movies on IMDb.
Yeah.
Known for.
So American Pie 2, that was like, she also did Bullets Over Broadway, the whatchamacallit, the Woody Allen movie with Chaz Palminteri.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that one won an Oscar. That one won Oscar for Best Screenplay. So she does it. She's worked with some Best Screenplay winning. I mean, at the time she didn't know these guys were going to win Best Screenplay. So it happens. But yeah, she was in American Pie 2 as well. So she was probably playing like a high schooler at that time.
That I guess so, right? Because American Pie came out in 1999. Says American Pie 2. I'm not sure when, but I think it was
American Pie 2 was 01, so it was a few years later. So she would have been, I guess, 68. She would have been 33 at that time.
She's playing high schooler in 33.
Right. Or am I right? Yeah, because 20 would be 80. Yeah, 30 would be So yeah, she would have been playing someone who's 33. But I would think she would have been playing a high schooler in this movie. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But
I never seen American Pie because I thought even back then, like, I don't know if I care about this. This is 1999. I was caring about other things. 99. So I think I was caring about like prestige-esque movies a little bit, like Fight Club. Like, look, I go on Fight Club. I want to go Summer of Sam.
Yeah.
I'll watch American Pie later. And then I never caught it. It's like, then it's kind of like the Goonies, like from the beginning of the pod. I never caught Pie.
Yeah.
I do like that Eugene Levy was in all the straight-to-video sequels.
Yes, I know.
That's hitting the skids. Oh my goodness. He must have got
because I wonder if he's still. I wonder if after Schitt's Creek, if he stopped doing those. Like, I wonder if that was like the point. Yes, like, I don't need to do these anymore. Yeah.
Let's go.
Because I know people were complaining. People were just saying like, "Oh, I can't believe he's doing." I think he was doing like Capital One commercials, and it's like if you have the choice between Capital One commercials and direct-to-video movies, it's like, oh, give me the Capital One commercials. I mean, that's probably what's kept Jennifer Garner out of direct-to-video movies for so long, is that she's you get paid so much to just like every once in a while do a commercial and be like, she's like advertising her farm, what is it called? Once Upon a Farm. It's like, oh, I've got a farm. It's like, like those commercials make so much money for it. Same thing with Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, he did a couple like Arena and stuff like that. But it's like, let me do Capital One commercials. So hey, Capital One, if you're out there, we'd be happy for you to sponsor our podcast as well. So I've mentioned them like 5 times in the past minute.
Sponsored by Capital One.
Right. Yeah. What's in your wallet? Yeah.
What's in your wallet? And then you get like, like. Believe me, I know how much in my wallet right now. Okay, all of it's going to court fees. Okay,
right.
I check my bank account. Melania took it all. Okay, I know how much there. It says negative balance. Not good. Alvin Bragg stole my money and Stormy.
That'd be great because
my copy of Roger Side of Town on DVD.
What would be great about that? Because he's known for not paying his bills. If like. That's the thing that brought him down, was not paying his Capital One bill, right? Like they actually came after him for the Capital One.
So fun. And then you get like an army of Eugene Levy's to come after him. And just like they all look like Eugene Levy, like, we're coming after you. Like, that's not good. It's like, I gotta fly to Mar-a-Lago. I'm in Mar-a-Lago now, so I'm just flying around. It's just like
exactly. That'd be amazing.
Circled, like I'm going. Oh right, the movie. So
Well,
let's see. Madsen. Okay. Oh, I also put it's all like fat gangster cliches.
hmm
You know,
hmm
because there's a bunch of gangsters like eating food
yeah.
in a machine. Like, why is it called machine? By the way, is it
So I
like
think it's like supposed to be like a part of like it's all part of the machine, right? That
Oh,
like
I see.
it just
Very
sort of
very
grinds
clever.
people out. Yeah,
Oh, that machine grinds your.
yeah.
Then
It's
I thought, go ahead, please.
Well, I was gonna say, like, yeah, it's not always clear, like, that's what's happening. I mean, the thing is, like you said, like, it's like there's not this concept, this like kind of clean concept of like what's happening in terms of like, yeah,
Yeah.
like it being the machine or something that's like grinding this guy out, and that's like he's getting grind out by the machine. It's the world. It's the reality is that he's just like he I mean, this character, I don't know that there's anything that like when he's just killing it. I mean, I guess the people aren't necessarily innocent that he's killing, but the fact that he's killing people, just sort of indiscriminately, I don't know how that's supposed to make me be like, oh, this guy's awesome. I want to root for him to win at the end. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's highly unlikable, and I mean, I give this the fair shake. I think a lot of people wouldn't give this that much of a fair shake,
Yeah,
because they look at him and be like, oh, this doesn't look very good. See ya. It's
yeah,
like I want and like, oh, but I said that in my mind too, and it's like, well, all right, but
yeah.
I don't know. It also was very like talky,
hmm
uh, full of these like dialogues and a bunch of slurs you can't say on this podcast,
Yeah.
and like a bunch of like Asian slurs,
hmm
and like, I don't know. I mean, like, thank goodness that Neal McDonough was in it though. That
Right.
really helped. Oh my goodness, he was great. He stole the whole movie.
Yes. 2007 era Neal McDonough is just the most amazing thing, apparently, because yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, every scene he's in, he is just, I mean, and of course he's a really bad character, right? Like he's
yeah.
an absolute baddie, but he is fantastic.
He gets all the. I bet most of his lines are improvised. I
Yes,
mean,
I agree.
because they're all good,
Yeah.
and like he has that kind of screen presence that you can't help but watch. That's why Neil McDonough's always been good. The Warrant, which I watched recently, it's okay, but I mean, like, you still need the right writing around him.
Yeah.
But just like, well, I did watch Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist.
Oh, you did. Oh, you did. How
I
was
watched it on
that?
Tubi
Yeah.
on Easter. Not, and like, I'll watch it. It was like really popular on Tubi that day.
Was it?
Well, you got Kevin Sorbo. Here's the thing. Kevin Sorbo directs the movie. He's not doing much in it. He's very, very sluggish, I thought, Kevin
Yeah.
Sorbo. In the movie, I thought it's like he looks like he doesn't care. Maybe that's his character, Rayford Steele. How many Rayford Steeles are going to be? My goodness. But
Yeah.
there's Brad Johnson, Nicolas Cage, and now Kevin Sorbo. Because as you can tell, I watch these Left Behind movies because they're
Yeah.
odd. But
Yes.
and this one, he looks sluggish. He looks kind of Neil McDonough. What you get of him is good because he's like the devil, basically. He's like and there's like this weird like kind of shootout at the end. It's like
Oh,
what's going on? It's like when people just get murdered in this boardroom at the end. It's like, is this the power of Christ? What's going on here? It's like
yeah.
I don't think Mr. Christ is going to be very happy about all this killing. It's like, and what was great about. But what you got Neil McDonough on that one was pretty good. But he seemed a bit subdued too. The whole movie's kind of subdued, I
Well, and
thought.
he was subdued in Phoenix. He wasn't bringing this energy in Machine. He wasn't bringing this kind of energy in Phoenix when he was in that,
Yeah.
which a movie could have used that too.
Yeah, he was really high energy, or the most high energy you can get for a machine for him. Because
Yeah.
I think he used to be a bit more high energy. If you watch his earlier work, Neil McDonough.
Yeah.
Like if you watch, I think there's a show that's called Medical Investigation. Is that what it's called?
Might have been. I,
Title.
yeah, I know he did like Lone Star episodes. I mean, he's done a bunch of stuff, but yeah, medical
Yeah,
invest. It could be.
because
Um,
he used to be a bit more energetic. Maybe that's just his roles lately, or just he doesn't feel like doing it. But
yeah.
I could tell that there's a change in his acting style a little bit.
hmm Well,
Well,
because he's also one of those like he's like I think he's like kind of like extreme right winger kind of person, and I'm wondering if like because I think depending on how you are, if you're one of those extreme right winger, because I know like Sorbo, it sounds like he's just insufferable and nobody wants to work with him because it's like you just got to listen to him all the time. And if McDonough's like that, it might be that he's not getting the roles he used to get. I don't know how true that is necessarily in his case because
I can't
he's a
tell.
much better actor,
He's a
than
better actor because he's a good actor. He can kind of maybe get away with it. I mean, like
yeah
also Left Behind. What's his name? Corbin Burnson's in it.
yeah
He was good. he had a lot of good energy level to him. Like, I'm not looking for some people bouncing off the walls during Left Behind, but you got to have a little bit more like kind of fun with it. You got to have like some maybe histrionics. That's what I was hoping for in that with Neal McDonough. It's like almost like Al Pacino on Devil's Advocate. Maybe I was picturing that. It's just like, whoa, Kevin.
Right. Because, you know,
I win. You're the devil. Like, the devil of many words.
Yeah, McDonough could bring that kind of energy, couldn't he? He could do that kind of character, I think.
Dude, Neal McDonough, yes, if he had the role, if he just maybe leaned into it a bit more. You know, if you watch the movie called the Omega Code, no, what's it called? Omega.
The McDonough. That McDonough did.
No, I can't forget the title right now. The something code. It's a Katz Van Dien movie from 1989.
Oh, right. Okay.
The religious, kind of like Left Behind. You know, Michael York plays the devil, and he's very Michael York-y. You know, it's like it's like he puts a lot of that kind of Shakespearean kind of histrionic effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
And because they made Omega, I did say Omega Code, didn't I? Yeah. So Omega Code has Michael York and Katz Van Dien.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a sequel called the Mega Code 2. And those are fun. Those are like fun, like devil religious movies with the histrionics you want. This Left Behind is it's all right.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about? Oh, Machine. Yeah. Oh, Neal McDonough. Yeah. So this Neal McDonough used to have. He's been in these like westerns lately. Have you seen that in his filmography?
Yes. Yeah. Which again, I think there might be that part of that like kind of religious alt-right thing there that helps.
I know.
With
I
that
heard he's religious. I know he won't like kiss other like actresses or something. I think Caviezel said that too. Are they making Passion of the Christ like 2? It's like I think
it could be right because Caviezel's also like Caviezel's worse than McDonough from what I understand. I mean, he's just obnoxious. Like he's just he's just completely out there. I mean, but yeah, I mean, well actually no, because this McDonough movie, this one we were talking about here, Outlaw Posse, it's Mario Van Peebles' movie, and it's got Whoopi Goldberg and Emmett Walsh and all these people in it. So. Yeah, so that can't be, you know, alt-right or any of that kind of stuff. It's just got to be fun. I mean, right now it's $5.99 on Prime, so hopefully it'll get down in price because that could be I mean, also it's 108 minutes long, so I think that might be a little bit too much. Well, but
Van Peebles always does that because I watched that Van Peebles movie called Armed. I think it's called that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like an hour and 50, and you felt it.
Yeah.
I mean, like Mario Van Peebles, I'm a big fan of Full Eclipse. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't seen that one. No.
Oh, it's good. It's he's like a werewolf cop.
That could be awesome.
And it has Bruce Payne and Patsy Kensit. And
that sounds nice.
And it's a good one. Anthony Hickok's directed. It's fun. It's a good like 90s HBO actioner, HBO movie actioner.
Mm-hmm. That's called Eclipsed.
Yeah, Full Eclipse.
Full Eclipse. Oh, I see it there. Yeah, TV movie. Yeah. He plays Max Dyer. Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool movie. I have a tape. Yeah, I have a tape. We gotta get the unrated version, and it's only on tape.
Right. It looks like it's because Amazon has it to buy. I think on because it was a TV movie, I guess, at one point. So it's like it was on
HBO. Remember, like HBO used to like put out junkier things like that. I mean, like
yes.
I haven't checked. Well, first off, Comcast took away HBO for me, so I don't know what's on HBO anymore. But...
Oh yeah. No, we do Max. So it's like we don't even watch HBO directly. We just like. Whatever is on, we wait till it's on Max and we watch it there. We have it through Comcast. We pay like I think an extra like $10 a month or something for it. I can't remember what it is, but
I could borrow. So I know someone who has that, so I could borrow their account.
But it's not on there. That's the problem. That's one of the things about Max that I think is a problem is that these movies from that time are not on Max. So like, what's the one I'm drawing a blank here? The Jay Leno.
Collision Course.
Collision Course, right? That was an HBO movie. I think it's on the Cinemax channel, which is different from HBO Max. It's like a different thing. But this isn't even on that. This isn't even available with that. It's kind of it's a shame like that they should just have load up all these movies. But I guess like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with hosting movies on these sites and like why they host some and not others because this would be a ton of fun. Like I should just write them a letter. Right, David Zaslav, whatever. Whatever.
People don't like that guy.
No.
It's like one of those everyday things like Taylor Swift. Like I hear every day that guy sucks.
Yeah, well, he does. I mean, he definitely does. Like the thing is, like he made his money off of those like horrible reality shows on like TLC and stuff, like 19 Kids and Counting and like, all that stuff. It's amazing to think that those shows were so successful that he was able to, like, they were able to buy a huge, a controlling stake in like HBO, Warner, whatever. Discovery Plus essentially has a higher stake in the company than, that's how like successful those crap shows were. I mean, yeah, it's just amazing.
That's amazing. I mean, like, and now all I hear about him is that he's a jerk, and then he like puts movies as tax write-offs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. It's not a lot of work. You spend like, okay, it's a tax write-off. Oh, but go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Well, because I think one of the things too is I think there's something to do with like not paying because like, for example, like if your contract, when you're an actor, writer, or whatever, if part of your contract is getting some of the gate when that movie's released in the theater, you don't get that gate potential because the movie was never released in the theater. So, and I think a lot of contracts are based off of that because, like in the '90s, right, that was how you got your contract. Was like you did it based off the gate, so that way, if the movie was really successful, you cashed in.
So, of course, he wants to take that away because he gets all the money for himself.
Right, exactly.
It's all very greedy. It's like, wow, I get the greed right there in your face. You used to like hide your greed.
Right.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I don't know if you used to play video games back in the late '90s, 2000s. Tenchu Stealth Assassins.
I've heard of it, but I never played it.
This game. Well, there's a part where like you're the ninja and you like fight like this like evil greedy guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy says, "My money." And you like kill him.
Right.
My money. It's like in the dub. It's so funny. It's just like I always think about that when people are greedy, like my money.
Like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And also, I was looking up Neal McDonough, and I just watched a couple things actually with him in a ticking clock. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that?
I haven't seen that one. No.
I'm not giving anything away about that. It's very interesting.
Okay.
And also, because I rewatched the show Terriers on Hulu, which I recommend if you haven't seen that. Donald Logue and his partner, like they kind of solve this mystery around LA. And Neal McDonough drops by at the end.
Oh, does he? Nice.
I won't say, but it's good. It's I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
It's definitely worth watching.
That could, yeah.
And of course, he played Bison. Let's not forget in Street Fighter that we just talked about. But the Street Fighter, the sequel.
Oh, right, the Chun-Li movie?
The Chun-Li one. He played Bison.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Chris Klein has best in that one. If you've ever seen in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Just look at it if you see it. Okay, but if not, just look it up on YouTube. It's like I don't know what he was going for in that. I couldn't tell if he was kidding or
right.
I just couldn't tell if he was being serious or he was just goofing around.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I know people say that Rollerball, the remake, is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know there's night vision. There's like a boing sound or something.
Right.
There's some sort of weird boing sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? And also Paul Heyman and Pink. And like they say Pink is in it. Singer Pink. And like I looked into this. Like she's really in Rollerball. So I looked at it. I was like, she's on a screen for a minimum of 1 second. Like she doesn't say dialogue. She's just on a screen. You're a kid, right? This is so funny. But here's we have to go back to Machine. But
but I think I remember Rollerball. The thing I quickly on that is that I remember they were MTV was just starting to do the Real World Road Rules Challenge. So it wasn't what we now know of as the challenge. It was like you get a team of people that were on past Real World episodes and a team of people that were on past Road Rules episodes, and they would like travel and compete, doing like challenges and stuff. And one of them was a tie-in with this movie, with this Rollerball movie, and Chris Klein was there, right? He was like kind of there hosting the challenge that they were doing, and he was like Mr. like Hardo. He was like, "This isn't a game, this isn't a joke," or whatever. And it was like, what are you talking? And so what ended up happening was like somebody that won it. It was this like Norwegian guy who was on one of the Road Rules seasons. He won the whole challenge and he got to be in the movie. I think he has like an extra role or something like that in it. So I also remember too, like one of the things that happens in that season is he's talking with some of the African American road rulers that were in his group, and he misunderstood that like white people don't use the N-word, right? Even if it's like in
Oh,
a kind of a joking, context.
uh,
And so there's this other guy, Latarian. I think his name was like Latarian or something like that. Who he had the best line ever on his Road Rules season, where he said, I hate the fact that like I'm just expected to like work out and shave my head or something like that, and I get women or something. I can't remember, and I can't remember the line. It was a great line, but he explains to the Norwegian guy, like, listen, you don't white people don't say that word. Like we say it with fellow black people can say it to each other. That's
right.
and even then it's sometimes not considered. Some black people don't want to hear it at all. But he was explaining it to him. It's like, okay, but there's other woman who was, I think she was on the cruise Road Rules. She attacked him, for saying it, and she got kicked off the show because of it. It was like a whole thing. But I remember that season.
You have a good memory because I never
Yeah.
watched that stuff. So it's like I remember I saw some old clip, maybe it's Road Rules or Real World, where they were like on this or about to be on the set of Beverly Hills Ninja. It's like,
Oh, right. Yes, that's right. Because there's the Israeli woman who Chris Farley had a thing for her, and she was like, I don't know what am I doing? Like I don't find him that attractive or something like that.
well, it's funny because it's like I can never tell if it's obviously scripted or not. But I mean, like they're like going to like his trailer, Chris Farley's trailer, and then he comes out, and then some guy in the back is like, "Who's this fat guy?" It's like, hey,
Yes, right, right. Because and like because I think that was the second season of Road Rules. I think. And they had the Israeli woman who he thought she was hot, and like they were in the back of the limo, and he was like hitting on her, and she didn't know who he was, and she was like, I don't know who this guy is. It's like I don't find him attractive or whatever. And so because where they did a stop at the Oakland A's, and they did something for the Oakland A's. Where they had to I think actually because she didn't know anything about baseball, there's like this old joke in baseball where you tell somebody to find the key to the batting cage, and it's like supposed to there's this like which there's like this sort of like this wild goose chase where you're just going all over the park asking people like, oh no, ask this person, they've got the key to the batting cage. It's like this old joke that's existed for like I think like over 100 years in baseball, where it's just like but they played that joke on her. She was like going around asking people for the key to the batting cage, and they were just like eventually she finds out that there is no key to the batting cage.
of course there wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think anything else I can say about Machine. I guess I actually will say will not recommend this movie.
Yeah.
It's you don't really care. Oh, I have a line. I have a line from the movie. Hold on, let me get this again.
Oh yeah.
Well, here we go. So we got Michael Madsen. He's talking to some woman's like, "Oh, I like insincere romance."
Right. Yes.
And he has a Hawaiian shirt on. And then at the end of the movie, there's like the bartender lady says, "All you want to do is kill people." The to it made me great. Like
Yeah.
like
Well, I love too that like she was a jerk to him, and then when he pulls out his gun, he's like, "I'm gonna kill you now." She's like, "Oh no, no, don't kill me, don't kill me." And it's like, what made you think you were gonna get away with being a jerk to Madsen when he kills people? His character kills people all the time. Like that's the last person you really need to be a jerk to. But yeah, be a jerk to him. And then when and it's like he just like shoots her in the stomach, and she just like lays down. And so, do you remember when the poor man's Eric Palladino when he is like raiding when he's going to attack kind of towards the end of the movie when he's going to Vallelonga's place to kill him, and he's got a shotgun, and there's like this bald shirtless guy with tattoos all over him. There's like the seven deadly sins tattooed on him, and he's got like glasses, and he's just sitting there being bald and shirtless. And then the poor man's Eric Palladino shows up and shoots him, and then like he's like laying on the ground. I guess he's supposed to deliver the death shot, right? And it's just like he just shakes the gun up and down, and then you hear a gun sound, but there's no shot that happens.
No.
And and the guy shakes, I think, a little bit too. And it's like when you get to the end of the movie, it's just sort of like we just want to get this thing finished. We just need to get this thing in the can, I think, at that point.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's get this over with.
Right.
Which is basically the movie in a nutshell. I mean,
well, the only other
heard-
thing I would say quickly about this movie is don't watch this drunk, because especially if you've had a night of drinking and you want to come in and pop something on Tubi and to kind of sober up to or whatever, because it's shaky. The camera is just moving all the time. It's like all over the place. You're gonna get seasick, and you might throw up watching this because of that, because it's all over the place.
That's not a problem. Let's just make. I know it's a low budget, but let's make the movie look normal a bit. You can look a little, like gritty, but it's too gritty. You can't see anything, and it's all shaky, and you don't care.
Yeah.
And like I guess I guess I'm being very actually kind of nice to the movie. I thought it was just okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like the thing is that it's so hard to beat the system, Jerry
Mhm.
Pitt movie. So it's like everything else just dwarfs it.
Mhm.
I hate to say that, but
Yeah.
I mean, like that was such a great movie, and also Operation Black Ops. That was also so hilarious.
Right. Yeah, this isn't hilarious bad. I mean,
That's
you've
the
got the
problem.
inspired
Yes,
McDonough. Madsen is fun when you've got Madsen, but
exactly.
overall, it's just like this character, this poor man's Eric Palladino, going around either killing people or getting roughed up by other people who are saying, no, they get the drop on him, like McDonough gets the drop on him at one point, and so that's really what the movie is. It's just like this guy killing people or people getting the drop on him.
Now, here's would be the better movie. You get Neal McDonough as the main character, and he's going around being corrupt, and then he goes into a machine, and then he has to like realize that Madsen and James Russo are evil, and then he goes after them.
Yeah.
There's your movie,
Right.
and it
Yeah.
would be like kind of straight to video gems that you would maybe hear about. It's like, yeah, what's that Neal McDonough movie? He was like a corrupt cop. He was kind of cool in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Just completely work out the poor man's Eric Palladino, which the thing is, right? Of course, the problem is for the poor man's Eric Palladino, he wrote and directed. This is like his vanity piece. Like
yeah, I know.
this is his movie. It looks like he has other vanity pieces. He has
Which
one he has one in 2021 called Driver. It's and it's hilarious because now he's no longer a poor man's Eric Palladino, right? Because he's older.
right?
I don't know what he looks like on the cover of Driver. I'm trying to think of like who this is here. I mean, he looks like any older guy that could be running a hoagie shop here in Philadelphia. That's this guy.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the movie's on Tubi, Driver. I mean, this is definitely not one for our podcast because it's got nobody else in it. Like he doesn't have anybody else in the movie. But it sounds like this movie. It's a criminal getaway driver plays by his code and set of rules for years. When he's forced to break the rules, it starts a domino effect of chaos in an already dangerous world of treacherous players. Doesn't that sound like this movie that we just, only he's not a driver?
I guess he's also in some other movie called Bulldozer.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see what Bulldozer.
He's on Tubi. He's a
Yeah.
full tough guy. He just kind of looks like a because he's older. He's like a Paul Sorvino getting a hoagie at your favorite sub shop kind of guy. I mean, like,
Yeah. He's almost like this older version of him is almost like the Frank Stallone to he would be like he would be like to Paul Sorvino. He would be like the Frank Sorvino, I guess.
Frank Sorvino or maybe Frank Palladino.
Frank Palladino, right? Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Right. He as he gets older, some of the Eric Palladino gets replaced with some Paul Sorvino. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe we can go back to Lazar in the future. I mean, that's kind of interesting. I mean, like, maybe I'll more to watch, but I mean, I'm not saying this movie it wasn't bad. It's like, well, it was bad.
Yeah.
But maybe he got better. I mean, like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how these movies without having Neal McDonough and Michael Madsen, because these movies don't have anybody in them. These newer ones. I don't know what they would be offering us.
Most of them are on Tubi, by the way.
Yeah.
Most of them go straight to Tubi.
Yeah.
Machine's on Tubi, Bulldozer's on Tubi, and Driver's on Tubi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to know. Give me like anybody. Just like any. How about Sam Jones? I haven't seen him lately.
Right. Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah. Like,
have him in there with his flat top and just get after it.
Or how about Marshall Teague? That's a name.
The Teagster. Yeah, the Teagster would be. Yeah, he would be all about it. Just pay him, $50,000 for a day. I mean, I'm wondering if the problem is that like these movies he can't afford the $50,000 to pay for Teague for whatever it costs for I don't know, would it be $50,000 a day? I don't know. His most recent one is a movie called Well, actually, I'm looking at his actor credits, his director credits. That's probably where we want to. Red Horse. Oh, he directed Red Horse as well. That came out in 2024. I don't know if it's out yet.
He makes these movies. I love to make a movie, but you need a name. Like you need.
Yeah.
There's that weird movie I haven't watched yet. It's called Singularity. As John Cusack, like they kind of smushed him in.
Mm-hmm.
It has the other character actor guy in it too, called Carmen Argazernio. I never heard his name before. You've seen the He's almost like a Robert Miano kind of guy.
Oh, right, one of those cats. Yeah,
Yeah, but get like a Robert Miano guy in this Lazar movie. I think that'd be good.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
Because this guy's got another movie coming out called Red Horse, and there's nobody in this either. But it's him, right? He's the writer and the director. It's like he just keeps making vanity pieces where he's like Mr. Hero guy going around killing people.
if you want to have range as an actor, you gotta do more.
Yeah, yeah.
No, when I was looking up The Driver, it said there's another movie called The Driver. It has Mark Dacascos.
Yes, that's a chaos movie. With chaos. What I can't remember what Wachowski or
We can pronounce
Wachowski.
nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can. Yeah, but yeah, that one's on Tubi as well.
Oh, it is. Oh, I just saw that. We should watch that for this podcast.
Yeah, that could be an interesting one.
Might be good. He's a nice guy in real life because he messaged me about sabotage. So it's like,
Yeah, he seems. Yeah. Right. That's the thing, right? Is that Dacascos, right? When we're talking about people making movies and stuff, Dacascos is like kind of the real deal. Like you see him in Chaos Ananda, I guess. But actually, interesting thing with Driver, the writer, Chaos is one of the writers, but the other one's is Steve Poirier. So to have another Poirier, that's always a good deal, right?
Are you related to him?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. No, I have no idea who Steve. We don't have any Steves in the family that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, but it looks like Driver has Dacascos' wife and daughter in it. So that's
Nice.
interesting.
Good.
I know the wife, Julie Condra, she does One Night in Bangkok as well.
And she's in, I'm not mistaken, she might be in Crying Freedom.
She is. That's where they met. Yeah, that's where they met.
Of course, Mark Dacascos, gotta love I mean, is this Wu Assassin show Mark Dacascos we're watching? I mean,
God, that's a good question. It's not bad. Because Iko Uwais is good in it. Byron Mann is pretty good in it. And Dacascos doesn't have as much to do with it. So Dacascos' character is like this. There's like this. He's like this like godlike person that can like be different people, and he's supposed to be helping Iko Uwais out as he's like getting his power. It's also got Tommy Flanagan in it. And Juju Chen is in it. But Juju Chen's actually really good in it. She plays like a baddie who works for Byron Mann.
I might maybe I'll catch it when I just add a stuff,
Yeah.
I know it's on Netflix. I thought I was looking forward to it at the time, and I forgot.
Yeah.
And then I forgot. So now it's been almost 5-6 years.
Yeah, it's the problem with it is like most Netflix shows. It's like I don't know if it's like how many episodes it is. It's like maybe 10 or something, but it's like essentially a 10-hour movie. It's just like,
The problem with Netflix shows and movies, I think, unless otherwise noted, is that it goes run through the mediocrity machine.
Yeah.
Like Damsel about a month or so ago.
Yo, right. I haven't seen that one yet. Is that kind of the similar idea though?
It's not very good because first off, the dragon talks. So it's the dragon part. It's like, maybe because also I don't like dragons, but I'll give it. I never liked dragons. I mean, that's just me. I guess but I don't like when dragons talk like Dragonheart, which it's like. I mean, isn't it hilarious that Dragonheart, the voice of Sean Connery as a dragon? I mean, that's hilarious. Yes. Now let's go, and then they made a sequel or they had the voice of Ben Kingsley as the dragon. It's like now, okay, who's next? Trump? They made best dragon had the best fire. It's totally fire.
Yeah.
Dragon. Trump the magic dragon. But it's like
which of course was it kind of fitting, right? Because as we're recording this, the big news is that he's been falling asleep and farting in his courtroom appearances. Yeah. So Puff the magic, right? It's like instead of more like smoking weed, it's a different kind of right. Yeah.
That's classic Trump for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. I mean, I guess also someone burned himself on fire outside his
Yes, I heard that too.
Like, first off, this is about Stormy Daniels.
Right.
You shouldn't be. It's not worth you lighting yourself on fire. It's like, trust me, it's not that exciting. It's like,
yeah. I mean, of all the things to set your and I know. I remember. Obviously that process started right with the Buddhist monks who were setting themselves on fire. I guess against the Vietnam War, was it? Or they're also protesting the Chinese, taking over
free Tibet.
Yeah. I think those are different things, right? Trump dealing with a hush money trial is not the thing that you need to be setting yourself on. But see, I think that's the things you get, like the whole Alex Jones conspiracy cycle. There's this idea that like the deep state is weaponizing the courts against Trump, and that's what this person feels like they're setting themselves on fire to like alert the world to. And it's like, no, just let Trump fart in court, and you go get yourself a decent job and stop giving him money, and just but no.
It's like, I think this is all ridiculous. What's going to happen in November? We don't know. It's like, and I guess this has become more of a political podcast today, but it's like,
well, if gay frogs can be political, I guess that's it. Right?
Yes, can they vote too? It's like,
right. If water's making frogs gay, if that's political, I guess that's where we're going here.
I mean, they hop to the voting booth. It's like, I'm going to ribbit for Biden or ribbit for Trump. I'm not sure.
Oh, that is like the next. That's the next Alex Jones conspiracy thing. Like, oh, the Democrats are setting it up so that they can have gay frogs vote in the election. They're trying to make it illegal for gay frogs to vote in the election, and they're all going to vote Democrat.
It's like electoral college full of frogs. It's like,
right, exactly.
I'm not going to go to that electoral college anymore. It's like,
right.
So it's like, yeah, I don't. It's too far away. It's May, so we can't really worry about this election stuff now. I mean, like, or you could and set yourself on fire.
Right. Well, because I don't even know if this guy is like. It's right. It's just this idea that like, oh, Trump is like such a martyr. I'm going to let myself on fire, and it's like, man, there are very few things in the world. Like, I mean, I don't even know what's the other thing too. I guess when you set yourself on fire, is like, I mean, I just think of myself like when like when I'm cooking and like oil splatters and gets on my hand, and it's like, that really hurts. Like that's like the idea of setting myself on fire, having that feeling for like the whole rest of like the last like 5 minutes of my life or whatever. But maybe it takes longer than that. I mean, you think about like the stunt, right? We see so many action stunts where guys are on fire, and it's like they slow-mo it so that they're barely on fire for any amount of time.
Look at this segue for Spotlight on a Fight.
Right, segue. Yeah, well, should we do that? Should we roll into Spotlight on a Fight?
Machine, skip it, and now on.
yeah, the machine. The Neal McDonough stuff is good. Madsen, pretty good. But beyond that, you're talking about a poor man's Eric Palladino, who, as the hero, is just going around killing innocent people, or not so innocent people, but he's just going around killing people.
Yeah, right. That's about it. So Spotlight on a Fight includes. Just kidding.
So Spotlight on a Fight. This is. I don't know, where would you put this one all time? So the movie is The Human Shield. It's a Dudikoff film from 1991. I want to think, was this like it was directed by Ted Post, but I want to say, was this a Golden Globe, like one of the?
It was, canon for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the Golden Globuses, right? Because it was like, it was a canon film, right? It was an actual canon film.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay, so the idea behind the movie, it takes place around the time. So one of the things I think people forget, right? Because there's two Gulf Wars, right? There's the early '90s one that lasted like, I don't know, like 100 days or so. It was like it was quick, right? It was a kind of a quick in and out kind of deal, where Iraq invades Kuwait. The U.S. goes in with their, and attacks them. The whole big thing was the Scud missile, right? The Iraqis were launching Scud missiles, and we had the Patriot missile that from Raytheon that blocked them. So at this time in 1991, they're kind of still in. I guess the other thing too that was happening that we kind of forget was that Iraq was threatening to bomb Israel, and so there were a lot of there was that fear of being bombed. So and of course, Iraq was known for using. Saddam Hussein was known for using chemical weapons. So you had a lot of Israelis that were like at night would have to like have their gas masks on in case, they were getting bombed. Like they were afraid of being bombed. So I think that's where this is born from, is that like Golden Globus were looking at it as like kind of a bigger thing than it was. The war ended so quickly that by that time, it was a blip in history. But that's kind of what we've got going on here.
Yeah. So it's good to have it on film. I mean, I remember liking Human Shield. I need to rewatch. But it's kind of fun to watch. I see it on YouTube, by the way. People want to see it.
Yeah.
But this fight was pretty good. I mean, like, I don't remember the bad guy names. I just watched the fight.
I don't remember. So he's a Saddam Hussein-esque baddie. That's really.
Saddam Hussein like Junior. So it's like.
And it starts right. So what's happening is it looks like this like command center is about to blow up. And the hallways are designed like a pentagon shape. So like these people are like running out of this pentagon shaped hallway that's kind of sort of above them. It looked like something out of like a PM, like a futuristic PM movie, like virtual, not virtual assassin. What was virtual combat or something like that? Like you're expecting to see like a Rip Taylor, disembodied Rip Taylor head looking at you as you're running.
Well, that's scary at any time frame. The future.
Right. The disembodied Rip Taylor. And then so then Dudikoff, is in this command room here, and he confronts this Saddam Hussein looking general guy.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think how it starts. Is like, I think the baddie tries to like topple a bookshelf on Dudikoff. That's where we start this whole thing.
This guy had no chance. I remember watching. It's like, okay, you're not gonna beat Dudikoff. There's not much of a fight here, but I'll take it. It's just like not much of old Mr. Mike Dudikoff.
Yeah. And so then the fight goes from there. They kind of like hit the command center and
the control room. Yeah.
In the control, and something like some sparks start to kind of light up, and we've got a fire. So we've got flames, and there's this kind of thing where I think they're trying to push each other into the flames. And the baddie is like got his like hands like on Dudikoff's like face, like trying to smoosh his face and like move him into the flames, and then like Dudikoff like topples him over, and it's kind of like a back and forth kind of thing there.
And that's fun. I mean, like, then there's the part where like Mr. Saddam like throws like some sort of like, or maybe it's Dudikoff, like some sort of weird like kind of pudding kind of stuff.
Right. Well, because before that they get up. Right. They're both standing, and they're kind of like kind of tussling and whatnot. And the baddie goes wrong side of town on us here, and he stabs Dudikoff in the leg.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Wrong side of town.
If we didn't have wrong side of town to compare with this fight, this reaction from Dudikoff might be the best ever reaction to getting stabbed in the leg.
Exactly.
He's just like kind of God. It's like and it's like they're kind of almost like moving, the guy's like kind of almost like trying to move the knife up in his leg, and it's like he's like got it in there really good.
That's the thing about White Side or Wrong Side of Town. It's
yeah, it's just a good, not enough fights have a good leg stab. They do a lot of slashes, they do knife slashes, but a good leg stab, I think.
But Dudikoff was limping.
Right.
Right? So unlike Mr. Batista, he's fine.
Right, exactly. But Batista, because he has such massive quads that he can handle a small stabbing in a quad.
I cracked it like, one limp, I'm fine. Immediately 4 seconds after, while the calling is playing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So Dudikoff gets away, and Saddam Hussein is chasing Dudikoff. So what Dudikoff starts doing is he's just grabbing anything he can and throwing it. So he's like throwing papers at him. He throws some coffee at him. Yeah. And then, like you said, the pudding, it was like anybody who's worked in a kitchen, you get those like kind of those big plastic tubs of like mustard or pudding or whatever. It's like a plastic tub where you get the big, and it's like, it could be any kind of condiment or something. I thought it might have been mustard too.
Okay, I'm going to assume it's pudding.
Whatever it was had something in it that when it got in Saddam Hussein's eyes, he was like, my eyes,
Yeah.
And it's like,
and they kicked them,
right. And I mean, I guess like I've never gotten pudding or mustard or any of that stuff all in my face before, but it's all a lot of. So the pudding, I don't know. Like mustard has a vinegar base to it, so I can see that. Like when you get vinegar in your eyes, that's got to really hurt.
That's painful. I've never had that.
Yeah. Pudding, because it was maybe like a butterscotch if it was a pudding.
It did look butterscotch. Is this butterscotch pudding? It's like
yeah, because a butterscotch could potentially really. I don't know what's in butterscotch. I don't know what we put in to make butterscotch, but I feel like it's got to have stuff that you don't want in your eyes.
Good point. I'll have to look into that. Look up butterscotch. It's like there used to be a cat. They used to kind of walk around Best Video named Butterscotch.
Oh, nice.
And it was a nice cat. It was kind of like an art tabby. Everything was butterscotch.
yeah. That used to be a common name for tabby cats, and now I think everybody just names their cat Loki.
It's like, all right, already. There's only one Loki. It's Tom Fiddlesticks.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
like I'm talking about Tom Fiddlesticks. It's just like I mean, you can play Loki for life, I guess. But Tom Fiddlesticks. Well, he's in The Night Manager. That was a quality. Oh yeah, there's a fight. So again, there's the fight thing. So
no. So I mean, because so what we don't realize is that this butterscotch pudding is flammable.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Who would have thought that the butterscotch pudding would be fun? So we're at this point where Dudikoff's just like throwing all this stuff at him. He just grabs this jug of butterscotch pudding and just like tosses it, in front and just dumps it on the guy because he's like, I don't know what to do to get this guy away from me.
Yeah,
And now the
yeah.
guy's got it on him, and he's like holding his face, going, I
Yeah,
got butterscotch pudding in my eyes. I can't see. And like you said, Dudikoff kicks him into. Now remember this control panel that was on fire? It's really flaming now.
Yeah.
And he kicks him into the control panel. And again, who'd have thunk? I guess with like pudding, like you think of like Jello pudding snacks and things like that. I guess there's so many preservatives that some of those, I guess, would be flammable. I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, we don't know what we're putting in our bodies with these kinds of things, and I guess 1991 foods were definitely probably more. Well, you say more.
Well,
It could be nowadays. It could be more too.
You're a teenager, you have your handy snacks and your butterscotch. It's like,
Mhm.
well, it's kid food, kid cuisine.
Yeah.
It was funny if he got killed with a tray by a kid cuisine by Michael Dudikoff.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, because I think the pudding. Actually, when I worked in kitchens, they didn't have the pudding in the big jug. What it was, the pudding was like you would get like a big, large like pan, and you would like mix in like a whole bunch of these packets of like butterscotch pudding packets with like milk and stuff, and you'd mix it all together, and then you'd have to have these little swirly things. You'd scoop the butterscotch pudding into the thing. So there was kitchen workers at this plant who, I guess it was going to blow up anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I was going to say, like they were told, oh, you gotta put the butterscotch pudding in, and then it's like you go back to your boss, you're like, dude, somebody dumped the butterscotch pudding out and we don't have any more. Oh, okay, all right, we'll replace it with chocolate on the menu. But the residents, they love the butterscotch. We got to know if this is what we got to do. So
That's amazing.
yeah, but yeah. Oh,
But yeah, so
go ahead.
Quality. No, I'm saying it was a quality fight scene from a kind of an underrated Dudikoff.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, like, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it ends with Dudikoff kicking him into the flame, and then he's just Saddam Hussein's just kind of like rolling around like on fire, and Dudikoff is like actually like having to like dodge him, but also just looking at it like, oh my god, what is going on here? Like, how did this guy catch it? He's almost like shocked that the pudding was flammable.
Yeah, like, I killed him by pudding. Death by pudding. Now, usually that could happen to Steven Seagal in a couple of years, but this is a different kind by pudding.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah. Seagal would not be throwing the pudding on somebody. He would be like eating it and then attacking. He would have like one hand eating the pudding and the other hand like slap chopping. Yeah. I remember I heard that Ron DeSantis like was eating pudding with his fingers. Like he had like the Yeah. You could see Seagal doing that, right? With the goatee and getting it all in the goatee and stuff.
Yeah, it's like and then, like maybe in the 1991 version of Handy Snacks, that Michael Dudikoff could sharpen up that red stick and stab people.
Yes.
I think a little
awesome. that would have been perfect.
So it's so funny because that's what happens in White and Wrong Side of Town. I call it Wysot.
Wysot.
That's why I type it on Instagram when I talk about Wysot every 2 seconds. So hopefully I'm annoyed by that. But it's like
no, because that is a fantastic fight scene. I mean, this one here, and this movie, we talk about it being reviewed. So you, me, and Mitch have all covered it. Kenner at Movies in the Attic also covered it. So it's been covered by some. Like you said, it's on YouTube, so I think people should check this one out. It's a Dudikoff. I would say it's an unsung Dudikoff. Did it make some of our unsung lists? I think it did make our unsung lists.
I had to read and listen to that. But yeah, I mean, that was a good fight. I'm gonna rewatch the movie nowadays. I remember that Dudikoff was like really mad in it, like the whole time.
Yeah,
like screaming at everybody.
Yeah, he was angry.
Angry the whole time. I think it hurt the movie a bit. Usually he's kind of likable, but I'll rewatch it. Maybe double check that.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's like I was trying to see like what I said. I was saying like I don't know what to do with this one, right? Because it's like almost like a Not Without My Daughter kind of movie. And then it's like the silliness of the fight scene, especially that final fight, is just it's just so I mean you have like all kinds of different things. You got shootouts, you got explosions, you got like the Iraqi military is using dirt bikes. Yeah, it's a trip, and I think the one thing I think for people is it would be interesting for younger people, especially who don't remember the Gulf War. It is like even the context of it would make no sense, which is fascinating. It's a fascinating movie. It's Oh, and I forgot. That's right. The baddie was played by an actor named Steve Inwood, so he wasn't even Arab. He wasn't even. He just had a big bushy mustache, and they were like, "Okay, you're Arab enough."
Yeah, you're Saddam enough, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I do love the idea of that, of like just like slapping a mustache on somebody who's got like otherwise, like olive complexion and darker hair. Just slap a mustache on him and be like, "You're Saddam Hussein. Go get after it."
yeah, exactly. It's like we can't really do that for the Pootster or Putin. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, I like to see him as a villain. Or Elon Musk, he has villain name and villain face and villain voice.
Yeah.
So
He's a Bond villain. He's a Bond villain, and it's
he does the Bond villain, but he could be like that too. But Elon Musk is the ultimate Bond villain because
that's what I mean. Yeah. Yeah, he's a perfect Bond villain, Elon Musk, and it's like it's funny because he's an Iron Man. And he's like being celebrated as like this co-billionaire with Tony Stark, and it's like people kind of worship Musk, which is such a weird thing because when we were growing up, it's like no, billionaires were Bond villains. Guys like Elon Musk who are like wanting to send people into space and stuff like that. It's like Daniel Craig should be like beating him up at the end of the movie.
I wish. Well, it's too late now. I think they were supposed to make. I should let you go in a minute, actually. But I think they were supposed to make like a movie like set in space, of Tom Cruise and Elon Musk who's going to like drop by. And I wish if Elon Musk had a sense of humor or more of a sense of humor, he would actually just play it. He'd be like a villain. He'd be like Elon Musk or something.
Right. Yeah. That would be so perfect.
Yeah, but it's like. Oh, it's Melon Tusk or Talon Tusk. There you go. It's like, oh no, that evil villain Talon Tusk.
Talon Tusk, I like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, Talon Tusk is out for me. And Tom Cruise, and he runs in slow motion because he's in space. It's like that could be something.
Yeah, I love the idea of that.
I love I'm gonna destroy like the moon. It's gonna be good internet. But it's like actually really good like high internet speed. But it's like wait, this isn't very intimidating.
Yeah, his acting, because it would be hilarious to think of like who would play Musk in a Bond movie where the villain is essentially Elon Musk. I'm trying to think who would do a good job of playing him.
Maybe Cillian Murphy.
Oh yes, yeah, he would be good. Yeah.
I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but I will. Just like it's 400 hours long. I don't really have the time.
Right, exactly. It's easier to jam in a couple Madsen movies for an hour and a half a piece.
Almost 3 Madsen movies for 1 Oppenheimer's.
Right, exactly.
I should go in a minute.
Yeah, do you want to plug it up while we wrap up here?
Oh, first off, thanks for having me back on, but I guess I'll say that too. It's a fun episode of all these wacky things. All right, so let's see. We got comeuppance.net, it's the website of all the wacky websites. Reviews. I'm not very good at plugging today. Comeuppance Reviews, the podcast, which you're always on, and you'll be on soon.
Yeah.
As the collaborator for No Subject Part 10, which is amazing.
Right. I know.
I'm gonna mix around 10 and 11 ideas though, because got the Tweed Airport, which is a spoiler for No Subject. Yes. But it's about. I don't remember. I have to look at them again, but and then that's on every podcast. Catcher you can get. And then let's see, Ty Comeuppance on the Twitter X. I don't really do much there. And Ty Action Rocks is Instagram. I posted Tell Me No Lies recently. Amber Smith, kind of like the lower rung of the erotic thriller actresses. Right. It's like she's like number 6 or something. It's like
right. She's
like your Tawny McClure kind of material. Like,
yeah. When you can't get Tawny McClure, you're going to Amber Smith.
You go to Amber Smith. Like you're out of Tawny's, now go to Amber's. It's like you want your tweeds and you want your wearies. then you're like, we're getting down the list here. You got your strains, maybe, kind of.
Yeah.
And then then you go Tawny, and then you go to Sarah Suzanne Brown, and then you go to Tawny, and then you go to Amber Smith, and then you're out of people. But
yeah. Or if it's early enough, Tanya Roberts, I guess.
Tanya Roberts.
Yeah. She was, yeah, exactly.
Or Sins of Desire. What's the Erotic Thriller podcast? The Erotic Thriller Symposium again.
Right. I mean, that's the thing with the erotic thrillers. Like, they're starting to kind of make a little bit of a comeback. Like, they're starting to be more available. And so, for people out there listening, one, they should check out that podcast episode of your show, the Erotic Thriller Symposium, because it's a really great episode. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
with the help of you, that was good. It's like,
yeah, it's a really great kind of. I think for people that don't really know a lot about the '90s erotic thriller, they should check that out because I think it's a very important part for how we got into these kinds of movies. Like they even though
exactly.
we talk about
It's
action a lot, they
yeah.
were. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't say anything. Oh
Oh, I
yeah,
thought you did. Oh, sorry, I thought you did. Okay, sorry. No
I
worries,
think you
but
might have had a brief audio drop off. Oh, live audio drop off. Wow, look at that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, so yeah, but we did it in a funny kind of our own style of doing the podcast. We did an R-rated, unrated subject into
right.
like almost a PG-13, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, what was great too is that we actually had a game on that one where Brett was asking. It was like between the two of us, like where Brett would come up with a title and be like, "Is that a real title or a fake title?" And I was surprised we did pretty well with that. Like we were able to suss out the fake titles. I was worried when he started saying it.
Because all the titles do sound the same, but you know what? Then
Yeah.
in our brains, it kind of snaps into place where it's like, wait,
Right.
that's not the right title. That's
Right.
not
Exactly.
sexual
Yeah. Yeah.
intrigue, or it's called, or sinful intrigue. It's
Yeah.
just sinful intrigue. That's a PM one. But for
Yeah.
love of God, I should let you go. So,
Yeah, we'll wrap this one up here, and just give
oh
people a tease for next month.
yes,
We're looking at doing a Dermot Mulrooney double feature. So
yes,
we know, like I think the Bruce Willis stuff tends to be like very popular. People really want to, and we're going to get back to Bruce Willis eventually.
you
But
are. Yeah.
I think when we first started doing this, when we were like, "Oh, we're going to cover some Bruce Willis movies," we didn't realize how sloggy they can be. Um, and it's one of the things, like even like an Assault on Hill 400, they're not quite the level of some of these Bruce Willis slogs. So sometimes we just got to take a break from them, but we'll definitely get back to it. But
We'll
the
get to
Dermot
it.
Mulrooney thing was just too good to pass up. Where he's in an Art Camacho movie called Ruthless that's
I
available
can't
on Hulu now.
wait for this. All I want is just him killing people. Just kill. I'll
Hmm.
be even nice. Just kill 5 people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine, 3. Just kill 3 people.
Yes.
In a
Yeah.
cool way, an Art Camacho way. You guys have an automatic winner. And also, we
Yeah.
have the Dirty South, which
It's
he plays a villain named Jeb Roy.
yes. Right. Right.
That's
And
great. That's
yeah.
great. So
And
double Dermot, double feature.
right. And speaking of Neal McDonough, who was on Arrow, we've got Willa Holland, who played the
Yes,
younger sister on Arrow. She's in the movie as well. So this should be a real. Is Dorf in it too? I think.
I wish Dorf was in it.
Okay. All right. So for some reason, I thought the Dorfster was in it as well. I
I
guess
wish
I was.
Dorf. The Dorfster. I know the Dorfster's in the King of Killers as Frank Grillo's, Fire of Grillo's. I hear it's not very good. It's kind of like a Smoking Aces knockoff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's
And
like
then
maybe
yeah,
Bond.
because it's there like kind of like glowing when you go through
Yeah,
Tubi.
it's purple.
It's purple and it's like you want to watch this. Don't you want to see this? And it's like,
Yes.
oh, I do want to see it, but yeah, oh yeah,
Something about I saw the trailer. I wasn't impressed by it. It looked kind of low rent. You know, who cares? It's low. We talk about low rent stuff all the time, but something about that looks a bit more low rent than expected. Because you have
right, right.
Steven Dorfster and Frankie Grillo's. So I
Yeah.
guess Frankie Grillo's is going to be in the new season of Tulsa King. This
Mm.
it's like,
Well, that should be good.
oh,
Yeah,
I know I should go. I really have to go in a minute, but
yeah.
did you see that story about Tulsa King where the like Stallone supposedly made fun of like some extras?
No, I
You
didn't see that. No.
Like he made like look at this fat guy have a cane out of my shop. It's like it was just some
That's
extra
awesome.
guy, and I looked, and I guess there was a big to do for like a couple of days. And I think maybe Stallone might have shut it down, but I
Yeah.
just the guy. So they interviewed the guy that Stallone made fun of. He's just like an old man. Like give him a break. It's just like he had a cane.
Right.
I just felt bad for the guy. Like and his name is interesting. His name is Thomas MAYhem.
Hmm.
And it's like interesting. I mean, he's looking just like some like old kind of farmer looking guy who should be on Farmers Only or something. It's just like,
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel
Yeah.
bad. I don't know. It's just I get it. But but I guess this Thomas MAYhem guy is also in Civil War, which
Oh, okay. So he's yeah.
which I think I mentioned you about to get to. I really have to go, but I had
Yeah.
to think this in, which is
Yeah.
people getting mad about AI posters for Civil War. It's like, isn't that just a drawing?
Right. Exactly. Right.
I'm sorry. It's not in the movie. It's a drawing of a poster. People get really, whacked out about AI.
Yeah, I guess because you're not paying a
You're not
graphic
paying
designer to
someone.
do it, but
You're
yeah,
still paying the computer programmer to go on AI and do something. You're still
yeah,
paying somebody. A robot does not do it. Like
right,
it's a robotic material, but it's not a robot doing it. That like Robbie the robot or something. That's
right, right,
my age. I don't
exactly.
ever gonna quick robot like that. It's
Yeah,
just like, But
Yeah.
Robin kind of rhymes. So like Robin Robot's not pressing buttons; it's a dude. It's like
Right,
I guess
exactly.
I guess Reese Witherspoon's like, hey y'all, you gotta support AI, y'all. It's like she sounds like that, but just like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
y'all support AI, y'all. I don't really care as long as I guess it's my new impression.
It's a Reese Witherspoon impression. Yeah.
I didn't know I had that until just now. It's like
But you got it there. Yeah.
I
And
got
one
it,
quick
but yeah.
the quick thing on 30 South, it's not the reason why I thought it was Stephen Dorff. It's the poor man's Stephen Dorff and Shane West. I think he's a poor
Oh,
man's
Shane
Dorff.
West.
Yeah.
Shane West, because I just saw him in the Echelon conspiracy.
Yeah.
I think I
So
mentioned the podcast before, but
yeah, I think he needs to
walks
do
around.
some ads for blue cigarettes or
Yeah.
he needs his own like with the stubble and like the coat turned up walking on the beach being like, hey, we're all adults here. Like
We're all adults
Shane
here.
West needs that moment. He needs his Dorff blue cigarettes moment.
Shane West is fine.
Yeah.
I'm completely indifferent to Shane Westers.
Yeah, no, I think he's good, but I do feel like he inhabits a space that Dorff
If you
would
can't
have.
get Dorff now, you can get Shane West.
Right, exactly. They inhabit a similar space. I mean, Dorff I think has a little bit more danger element in his
Yeah, he's always like,
performances.
what's the Dorfster up to?
Right, yeah, exactly. Where this Shane West, he's a little younger. He's closer to age to me. I think he's like a year older than me. So yeah, he's
like Ben Shapiro,
right.
which he kind of did in Echelon Conspiracy. Like, oh no, Ben Shapiro's in a movie.
Oh, he
Like,
did. He did Ben Shapiro.
what's that?
He was doing a Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro was in the movie.
No, Shane West sounds like Ben Shapiro in the movie
Right.
called Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro is not in the movie.
No, okay, that's good. Yeah, so it's got with Ving Rhames. You gotta love Ving Rhames in there.
Giving Rhames and Edward Burns. I wish I could do an impression of Edward. I almost thought I could, but it's in my mind. I want to see some. I gotta go. So
Yes.
I can talk to you all day, but I actually technically.
Yeah, we can wrap it up here. We're good. So yeah, but thank you. We'll do a full wrap up here. Thank you everybody for listening. This was another fun one here with some Madsen MAYhem here.
Yeah,
Madsen MAYhem here.
Yeah, Madsen May.
That's right.
Madsen MAYhem. We can put that as like a dash.
Exactly, right, because it's May.
That could be something.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you everybody for listening. We'll talk to you soon on the Direct Video Console podcast. See you guys. Later, man.
Bye.